I mean, you could test it out by crypto mining. Get in on that weird fucking Ethereum nonsense and help, you know, make a fortune for people that don't need money.
I don't know if I'm willing.
I'm ready to
There
see.
she
Oh,
is.
no.
Sorry. I got caught up in work stuff, and I am over here sending work emails, even though
Oh
it's
boy.
not my work day.
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris.
Hold on. Let me just send an email. Just a email. Oh, okay. Good enough. All right. Okay. I'm not at work. I'm not at work.
Nope. No work.
Now tell them to fuck off.
I wish I could. It's just because of the whole freaking COVID thing, nobody knows what the hell's going on, and everybody's switched positions like 500 times, and they're
Of course.
nobody
Sounds about
knows.
right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here. Let the psychological torment begin.
Why?
DM can have a little psychological torment as a treat.
We have more than a little bit. I feel like we were all very, very worried.
You're right.
More a little concerned.
I'm just gonna sit here and eat my chocolate.
Fair, that's fair. Anyway, I wonder if I'll get no. You know what? I'll probably get Nick for that on YouTube. Never mind. I'm not gonna do that one. I'm
As
scared
long
of
as it's not
YouTube.
from a Sony movie, you should be good.
Is it Sony that cracks down on them the most?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony and Nintendo are both like hardcore on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, please ignore the giant token of the house in the corner.
Uh-huh.
That is just
You
what
see
I was
that?
using to keep track of its HP.
You say that.
You say that.
Suddenly, 3 more houses burst out of the tree cover.
No.
Nah.
I
I'm
don't
not gonna
want
lie.
it.
I was expecting that because I saw it last week. I noticed it in the corner. I was like, "Oh fuck! Oh no!"
Another
No.
one's coming.
I
No,
Keep
I-
pallet over here. Another one.
cast napalm.
All right. So where did we leave off last time? Oh yes. You have
Hey.
all recently survived a very near-death experience with a house.
And a
However,
hag.
at the moment, I believe Cray was. Oh no, you've already finished stabbing the dead body of Lasaga to death.
We all
Like to
did.
more death.
Super death.
You did, yeah, you
We
did.
curb stomped
Except
her
for
for a
that.
solid minute.
Yep. And then you, I believe, took a little bit of time to repair your doggy.
Yeah, so it's been about 5 minutes since she died, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But
All right.
Dee's back up and running.
Anything else you guys are doing in this moment of respite?
Having a panic attack.
Okay. Jess is over on the
Yep.
side.
Sitting over there.
But
Just
she's there with you.
You know.
dealing.
She's just in the fetal position, grabbing the cat, just going.
Pretty much. A little bit of crying. That's free action.
Yes.
Her crying is a free action, yeah.
It is.
Has the house completely stopped moving? Which is a question that doesn't get asked very often.
Yeah, that's fair. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me, please. As you, very in a paranoid fashion, look over your shoulder at the house.
And
At a house.
You look
Nice.
at the house, and I mean, the thing is, you're swaying a little bit, so it's hard to tell. The adrenaline's kind of worn off, and you're kind of on that, ride down from that. But for the time being, the house seems to be unmoving. Does anybody else? Is anybody else doing anything? I believe. Wait a minute, Seraph, did you heal them? Did you heal everybody? Was that a
I
thing?
don't believe I used any healing spells. Like, the only one that I can actually use that would give us, like, a decent amount of health would be Prayer of Healing, and that takes 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I don't know if you actually did that one or not, and I can't remember if I accidentally, like, added those hit points in or not.
I think you did. I
In the
think you
chat
did
it
because
shows I did.
Right.
yeah, I think you
I
did.
think I added mine. It
Yep.
looks like it.
I mean, I can do it again.
No, just like while you were fixing your dog, I guess you did that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've been sitting here for 10 minutes now.
Okay. In which case, Des.
In which case.
Okay, what?
A familiar voice creeps into your mind.
Okay.
It's small at first, and you fear you might be hallucinating for a moment, but it gets stronger as it goes, and it is indeed the voice of Strahd. And he goes, I am very glad to see that you've succeeded, but time is of the essence, my child. Your mission is not complete. I fear we don't have so many minutes left to dilly-dally.
Well, you could have helped. And she'll just like scramble to her feet and like look around.
Okay. I mean, he's
You
not
alright,
there.
Des?
Nah.
I'll kind of look over from where he's getting D back up and running and see Des scrambling around.
She'll try to start. Yeah, she'll try to start climbing the rope into the house.
As you do so, actually, and you don't need to roll a perception check, as soon as you kind of grab that first tree branch, because the rope is kind of burnt, so
Yeah.
you have to climb some of the roots structures, the house suddenly creaks, and you hear the creaking before you see the movement, where it just goes and very slowly tilts, and then rights itself, and kind of just turns just a little bit, but almost towards you, Des. And the roots slowly bend, almost like, this is the weirdest description, the house is kind of doing a squat.
Popping a squat.
Yeah, and it
Des?
kind of settles. It's not toppling, it's a very strangely controlled movement, but you can see it kind of readjusting itself and almost tilting itself, for lack of a better word, towards all of you all. Almost as if from the windows which are still glowing with light, they almost look like two eyes as it kind of tilts towards you and is almost looking down at you, if a house could do that.
Just under her breath, she's just like, "We're not gonna hurt you. Please don't kill us. We're not gonna hurt you. Please don't kill us."
Des? What are you doing?
It's moving! It's moving! It's moving!
I
Maybe don't
don't attack it unless it murders me.
Well, no, that's going to be too late to do anything.
You're the one that needs to stop us from getting murdered, remember? We kind of need that.
Well, if it hits me first, she just kind of like weakly thumbs up and then tries to like get in the house.
Okay, go ahead and roll me just a general dexterity check just to climb up the branches. No problem. It is closer to the ground as well.
So it's
You're
it's
just
like
getting up
it's
there.
like letting her in.
In fact, yeah, as she's climbing up and she reaches the rope and she grabs it and she tugs herself up onto what is essentially the veranda, the door slowly creaks open. And some light spills out of it. You can't see inside from your perspective, but it's almost as if it is in fact inviting her in.
Wait, let me come with you.
Well, hurry up.
Yeah, Cray will scramble up as well, behind Seraph.
Okay.
I was like, we're all going in. Or,
Alright. Everybody's
just-
going in.
She like carefully peeks like one eye through one of the windows if I get close enough, and just very quietly just, Arena, are you dying in here?
You peek through the windows. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Speak if you're dead.
Again.
I mean,
Oh
I
no,
could
wait,
do
it was
that.
Cray last time. Perception, yeah. Okay. The windows aren't very clean. It looks like they're mostly overgrown with mold, so you're kind of having to go in between those spots, but there is a warm light from the inside. You can see the hut itself is about 15 feet on each side, and what you see first is mostly just packed old furniture, and then the hint of like a wooden cot, some sort of wicker cabinet, a wardrobe, a wooden table. You see the hint of a stool that's been knocked over, perhaps, during your battle, because it has been going all over the place. You see also the hint of an iron tub, which looks to be stained with blood. You also see things like what resembles, at first you're like, oh, that's a weirdly built wooden cage. And then you realize it's perhaps a crib? Very strange. But you also you do see movement in there, but just for a brief moment before it moves out of your sight.
Shit.
What do your tiefling eyes see?
Dirty windows. Unkept house. Weird shit. I
are you cool,
Cool.
house? Are you cool? Are you not gonna attack? Blink
Yeah.
twice if you're not gonna attack.
don't.
Ray is very much on edge climbing up this house because the last time he did this, it made the house very angry.
Right now, it doesn't seem to be bothering you at all. Following the same trek that Des has kind of taken, it's relatively easy to grab onto the branches until you reach the rope and then use the rope to kind of support yourself and climb onto the veranda. Which isn't very big, you're kind of squeezed in there, but the door is still open.
Should we go take a look?
Let's
Yeah.
take a
I'm
look.
also gonna quick cast Aura of Vitality. Every time it comes around to my action, I can heal somebody,
That's fancy.
which I'm gonna start with myself. So
Fair.
Fair.
I'm going to use that out of my dragon mark and become a magic detector for the next 10 minutes. And I realize that the whole house is probably going to light up like a balloon.
Yeah, you know that weird thing when you're like in bed and you're like, hey, I should check my phone, and you pick up your phone and just then remember that it's on maximum brightness? It's like that.
Neat.
Oh,
The
Oh,
whole
it's-
house is glowing. There's some brighter points within it, but like it all kinds of blends together.
right, like you
The
do in
house
the
is
middle of
inherently
summer. I'm
yeah.
staring into the light to let my eyes adjust.
Yeah,
As I step
Cray
in.
kind of
Don't
like backs
know if
up into
that's
the railing
healthy.
and is blinking.
It's probably not, but it's what a stubborn person would do.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I will head in. He is looking out for any traps, primarily magical sigils or things like that nature.
Sure. Go ahead and roll a, I guess, perception or investigation. I'll let you decide.
23.
Wow. Yeah, you don't notice any traps. There's a couple of locks on the door, but they've been seemingly, like, unlocked already, seeing as the door is open for you. But as you are kind of, I'm assuming you're the first one to step inside in that case.
Probably.
Okay. You step inside, and you notice a lot of the same things that Des did when she first peeked in the window. But you also notice something else that has been kind of out of her line of sight. Which is a figure standing mostly in the middle of the floor, standing next to a very small table, which looks to be perhaps like a tea table that you would, set out for meeting with friends. Standing right behind that table, turned away from you at first, is some kind of weird, twisted figure. But as you enter and the door creaks, there's a shift and then a loss of tension. And then the figure says in a very familiar voice, "You're not her."
Is it Arena?
It's Arena's voice.
But you are. Are you dying?
The figure turns, and you now see it's weird. It's like seeing an illusion shift for you specifically, because you still have your not detect magic, but yeah, detect magic up. And you see a very familiar face of Irina. She looks quite different. Her hair is extremely unkempt, and whatever clothes she's wearing almost feels like it's been overgrown with like dead vines and leaves.
Did she make
It.
it to the goddamn house?
Sorry, what was that?
Did she make her into the house?
She's I mean,
She's just like a conduit, like stuck in the middle of it, controlling the house. That would be weird.
you're not in there. But she turns towards you and she looks at you, Cray, and there's a moment of recognition as she tilts her head to the side and her eyes go wide, and she goes, "You?
Oh,
It's you?"
hi, Arena. He'll kind of like lean back. I think it's safe if everyone wants to come in. I don't want to do this alone.
We
I'll
found
just
you.
I'll start peeking through like behind Crab, like, what did you find?
He kind of has like a child caught stealing from the cookie jar look on his face. He doesn't know what to say to Arena,
Okay.
so he's just sort of standing there a little dumbfounded at the moment.
Okay. I suppose we don't need the layout of the house. It doesn't really matter in the long run, but I decided to take the roof off. Yeah. Not a large space, so you all kind of crowd in here in Arena, one by one as you shuffle in. Her eyes look at you, Des, and again, in recognition, and Carter, of course. She glances at Seraph and kind of leans back a bit, just because your general presentation is not something one would expect out of here. She doesn't recognize you, obviously,
I mean,
but she kind of looks...
I am similar, quote unquote, similar to
You
Flora.
are similar, but unless you've had a major makeover. She kind of looks at all of you, and there's a beat of silence, and then she goes, much more grimly, "Is she dead?"
I
Oh,
hope so.
yeah.
She
she's
melted
ready.
into a puddle, and we did pretty much stab her dead body multiple times.
Not that
Many,
that
many
technically means anything, I think, but I think so. I hope so.
I hope so too.
Oh god, I hope so.
Irina kind of leans forward into the table that she's in front of, and for a second her nails kind of dig into the wood. Then a slow smile spreads across her face, and she goes, "I thought so. I felt... Huh. Well." And she kind of looks back up at you, and there is slowly a smile creeping across her face. And it's a little bit unnerving. She looks a little bit unhinged for the time being. And she just goes, "Good. Good. That takes care of one problem."
One
Big one.
problem?
I think.
What's
Well,
the
I
other
think
one?
I owe you all a bit of gratitude, although you're... Didn't expect to see you again.
We came as fast as we possibly could.
We-
Which
Yeah.
was a little bit, because we had some stuff to do.
A lot of stuff to do.
Long story. It took a while to get to this point. He kind of is still just like staring, like, I mean, with his detect magic, is she magical at this point?
Hold on, let me... Well, she has... Hold on, let me double check something about
Detect
that.
magic.
Is it?
Also, as we're talking, Des obviously is just passively healing people.
Yeah, I can tell.
Or
Yeah,
just gonna
everybody's-
walk in here and slump down on whatever this is to sit. 'Cause he's still super fucking tired, y'all. He's just running off him.
He's exhausted. She is glowing a little bit, and there's an inherent, like, I would say probably abjuration magic on her, that you sense. A little less bright than the rest of the house, though. There is, like, a bright, bright magical aura coming from kind of underneath the floorboards. And more kind of scattered around the room, more or less. But for the time being, she seems to be almost ignoring you as she's kind of considering this, and finally your words seem to catch, Cray, your words seem to catch up to her, a little bit belated, and she kind of blinks back to reality and goes, No, don't apologize. I would not have asked it of you, but things work out, I suppose. She kind of turns around again, glances at the rest of the house, and goes, well, good. Can I get you anything? Would you like some tea? And then she kind of just steps away and goes to one of the cabinets on the side and just begins to pull out, I would say it's the remnants of teacups. They are extremely chipped, but she's just like pulling them out and setting them onto this tiny table, which no more than like 3 people can sit at comfortably, even then.
Are you okay? Things seem to be a little dire, possibly for you.
Kind of looks back at you and she goes, dire? No, actually, this is much better than I've been in a long, long time.
Are you sure? Because you got kidnapped by a scary super hag lady.
That did happen. Regardless.
Yeah.
And she kind of turns back to the tea and begins...
It seemed to be a problem until very, very recently.
Well, we honestly don't know when this shift could have happened, to be fair. We've kind of been distracted.
No, that's very understandable. I'm sure you've all been very busy. We've all been very busy. But this is good. If she is in fact dead, then that solves a lot of problems.
See,
And
normally
she kind of
I'd be comforted
down.
by that. But
Not so much right now.
yeah, it's kind of the way that you're saying that, Arena. It makes me a bit concerned.
Kind of glances at you, says nothing. It is at this point that the voice comes back into your head again, and the rest of the conversation kind of fades into the background, for lack of a better word, as you're having to focus primarily on what's being said to you. And it is strained. Oh, little raven. It's just as I feared. She's gone and given up the one thing that tethers her to this plane. But you arrived just in time. I believe it's just about time our contract was finally brought to completion, wouldn't you? You've been ever so kind to bring my loan all the way to her. And now, it's time to save her, just as you promised you would. And at this time, as the rest of your companions continue to talk to Irina, who is looking at them, kind of a strange expression you notice distantly, but at this time, Des, you feel your fingers and toes grow strangely cold, and the warmth begins to leak from your body and go deeper, and as everything else kind of fades from your vision, you glance down, and you see a deep, flame-like glow pulse in the middle of your chest. Time seems to almost slow as it undulates a bit, kind of like candlelight, and then pulses out of your chest and rests in the air before you. And you look up and you see Irina is there, and she's almost looking at you with a quizzical expression on her face, but seemingly frozen in time, just staring straight ahead. And then Strahd at this time continues. Do you remember? Not but a month ago you made a deal with me for more time. I gave it to you. But I think it's time you pay the favor forward and give this gift of life to someone else who really needs it.
He's freaking out. A glowing orb just came out of his chest.
The rest of you, like, barely see this. Actually, no, because with your detect magic up, you would. You see Des has almost lost color, essentially, but she's also standing there, like, frozen. Something is definitely wrong. The rest of you don't necessarily see this.
Carter's just like, so how about that tea? Where are we at vis-a-vis tea?
He'll reach out to Des and kind of like put a hand on her shoulder. Des?
She's just like stunned, silent, like doesn't know what's happening. Can I move at all?
You can, yeah. You're still kind of feeling weirdly cold, but you can move.
She just like kind of shoots Cray a panicked look and then kind of takes a couple steps back.
Irina looks back at you and her eyes narrow and she goes, "What's the matter? What now?"
He kind of like looks between Carter and Seraph. He's got nothing. Like, there's nothing he could do.
Just
I can't do anything either.
just to nobody in particular, she just starts just like, no, but you said I didn't. You didn't want anything. When I said yes. I don't understand.
Jess?
And you're saying that out loud?
Yeah.
Cray's gonna grab her by the shoulders, kind of look through her eyes into Strahd, like, I know you're fucking listening to me. If you take her right now, I'm coming after you.
Strahd's voice filters back into your head and he sounds impatient, for lack of a better word, and he goes, "This is not a game. I said I wanted nothing, but that is still a gift that I gave to you, and I still have control over who gets it. Listen to me. Is this not your mission? With that raven queen that you serve? Are you not a cleric of her order? Are you not devoted to saving people from undeath? Well, look at her, and your eyes are almost forcefully going back to Irina, who's still staring at you kind of quizzically. Strahd continues. She has made a deal with that witch to give up the one thing that tethers her here. She has lost it unfairly. You can give that back to her. You can save her. Is that not why you were put here? We want the same thing, child."
Can I make some sort of check when he says that she gave up the thing that tethers her? Is that?
Yeah, roll me a religion check. Religion or Arcana, I guess. Ooh, 21. Something in the back of your head is beginning to connect these dots, and you realize that, like, as you're looking around, you can see the rest of your friends, and you can see this weird glowing, almost candle flame out in front of you. And you can see a similar light kind of all throughout the bodies of the rest of your friends, not as brightly, but they're just subtly glowing, and you look at Irina and you see nothing. She's still visible, but she doesn't have that same light around her. And you notice now that there's something strangely inhuman about her, and you're beginning to connect the dots, and you remember one thing about hags that you've learned before, which is the fact that they are not born, they are made. And there is a form of succession, and in order to become a hag, one of the requirements, as it were, would be to surrender your soul, which keeps you within the reincarnation cycle.
Oh boy. I have to make a really, really quick decision right here. Okay.
Irina, at this point, just to give you a little bit more time, is kind of standing up, and you can see her looking between all of you, and she goes, "Who is she talking to? Who are you talking to?" And she looks at Carter, and she looks at Seraph, and she looks at Cray again. She goes, "Don't tell me he sent you."
So about that tea.
She looks back at Carter and seems to hone in on him, and she goes, "He did, didn't he?"
I mean, her guy. You have to take it up with, who is it? The Raven Queen? Is that who she serves? You gotta take it up with her. She's trying to deflect here.
"You're working with him?" She's
No,
still glaring at.
the Raven Queen doing. He does little hand motions like wings.
And
You know,
looks
like
back
Papa.
at. She looks back at Cray and then Seraph and goes, "You.
Hey,
Never met you before. Who are you working with? Why are you here?"
I'm here to free this land of whatever hell is keeping the people here.
"Did you work with Strahd or no?"
I don't even know if I am.
He just says yes.
Oh no, your headphones. Bar down. Bar down.
There we go.
There
He
you
just kind of over his shoulder. He just hisses, "Yes, he sent us. But we were coming here anyway because we fucked up and you got captured." And he does all this without even looking at her. He's still just staring at Des.
Well, there's your answer.
Irina's kind of glaring between all three of you now, and you can see her form almost begin to change before she wrestles it back under control, and she looks like herself again, and she whips her gaze around at all of you, and she goes, "Can't believe this. Cannot fucking believe this. I can't escape even now. All my life, I've lived under his fang. Even before he tried to bite me, he's been draining me dry. My hopes, my ambitions, when I was but a child playing in the village, he stalked me, so my father kept me inside when I was growing. I planned to take over my father's role as burgomaster, and he taught me all he knew, but in the end, Devil came down to congratulate me and killed villagers in my name. Again, I was forced to give up my dreams. Even with my father gone, I can do nothing." She's, like, beginning to pace back and forth, just furious. "Ismark sent me away to my own safety." Alright, go ahead.
Would I know if she became a hag? Or, like, would I be able to, like, see the difference between an actual live person and a hag?
What abilities are you thinking of?
Well, I was mainly going off by knowledge of traveling. And like, arcane studies. I mean, I'm not proficient in Arcana, but...
Right. You could roll... I suppose you could roll a religion check for this as well, although hags aren't really very common. And you haven't personally dealt with them as much as the other three have. As Seraph hasn't, at least.
Well, I mean, given, like, studies, would I be able to, like... Would have I been able to, like, read about, like, some stuff or whatever? Like, I'm looking at my skill list, and Arcana, History, and Religion are all out of 1. So, like,
History
whichever...
or religion?
Yeah, so
History
just,
or religion will do.
Okay, I'll do History. Hey, look at that.
Hey, History. The process of becoming a hag is generally a lot more visceral than this, but you know that it's something that happens over time. For lack of a better word. It's not something that you're just like, "Congratulations, dun da da da, and you're a hag now."
So I
It's
would
something that
notice,
is
like,
kind
the
of grown.
transition.
Yes. Currently, like, you don't know. There's nothing indicating. There's not like a neon sign over her head being like, "This is a hag
I'm
now."
a hag.
I'm a hag.
I mean, there is, but for me,
Yeah, for
I can see it.
you can clearly see that something in her has changed.
Right.
I have a question for you, Arena. How are you still alive after being captured by, what was it, 2 hags, apparently?
One. Well,
1?
the one brought her here, presumably.
Kind of glances at you and she goes, "Well, wasn't exactly my decision. Wasn't exactly my choice, but doesn't matter much in the long run. I'm used to nothing being my choice. In fact, Lasaga was the first one to give me a choice. Strange as that is."
Can I insight
And...
check her?
You
Is
get,
she
yeah,
being like honest? Like,
you can insight check her, absolutely.
just not sure how it's gonna work. It's a 16.
16. She seems relatively shaken with all of this, and she doesn't seem controlled enough to lie for the time being, at least, is what I'll say.
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
Des at
Carter?
this time. Go ahead, Carter.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. I mean, she kind of left us hanging there. What is that choice
yeah, I was gonna
you
ask,
got
and
to
what
make?
choice did you make?
Arena
Just
kind of
before
looks
going here.
between all of you, and she goes, "Look, they planned to kill me well enough, but I suppose the saga had other plans, and she gave me another option. They brought me as a bargaining chip, and she accepted me, and look, Ismark, my own brother, sent me away for my own safety. I had nothing I could offer him. I'm a burden. I'm a fragile thing. I was a fragile thing. Which must have been kept from harm, and for what? Until when? If I die, the curse passes to the next person. Tatiana's soul will keep reincarnating, and the devil will keep playing his games. Well, I made a choice. No
You
more."
gave it up.
She kind of looks back at you, and for a moment there's like a break, and she looks less mad and sad until the anger creeps back in again, and she goes, "Yes. Yes, I did. My soul is mine to do with as I please, and if I cannot have it for myself, then neither will he. I will sully it if I have to. Drench myself in dark magic until it is no longer a soul but a blight. And Strahd finally sees that I'm not his. Tatiana not his plaything, and he will fear me." And for just a second there, her features seem to morph and twist, and she more closely resembles the thing which you have just fought. And then in an instant, she reels it back in again, kind of giving the weird shudder that you do right before you're about to throw up.
So
I
you
mean,
sold your soul to become a hag.
She gave it up out of fear, and all she had to do was wait.
Kind of glares at you and goes, "It's not your choice. It was my choice."
Gray looks at Des. Do you have a choice?
I don't know. But
You
I
kind of
mean,
like
are you gonna do like
stares.
she did? What's going on here? You seem to be conflicted with what you're trying to accomplish. What's your goal? Are you just after Stride, or are you gonna be able to stop yourself after that?
And kind of glances over at you, over her shoulder, and she goes, "That's my business."
I mean, it's kind of not at this point. If you can't rein it in, it's gonna be a lot of business for a lot of people, present company included.
Kind of glances between all of you. "Haven't attacked you yet. The house, which is now mine, has not attacked you yet. Is that not proof enough for all of you?"
But there's a chance, after using all this power, that you could lose control and destroy everything around you.
"I haven't lost control yet, have I?"
But you
Yeah.
can.
Or I can just keep it reined in. Well, look, we don't jail people before they've made a crime, right?
Carter kind of looks the other way because he's definitely been jailed before for not.
Des, once again, after this long silence and you're kind of half listening to this, half looking at the thing down in front of your chest, the voice creeps back again, and you can tell, without an insight check, that Strahd is seemingly losing his patience. He goes, "Do not play with me, little raven. I have been plenty patient with you. I have been more than kind in capturing your life as it slipped away for the first time. I found it, and I brought it back to you, but as you know, finders keepers. And if you refuse to give up the loan, I will be forced to take my collateral." And as he says this, you see a strange pulse to the side, and as you turn to look in that direction, Carter and Cray, both of you simultaneously feel strangely ill. Cray, the breastplate on you begins to tighten like a vice. Carter, the periap of proof against poison that you're wearing around your neck seems to almost sink into your skin as if it's melting into the flesh, and it's burning. I need both of you to roll me Constitution saving throws. Seraph, you're fine.
Yeah, you didn't put anything on.
None of the stuff I chose.
Oh, no.
18. He's immediately gonna try ripping the armor off.
All right. You made the saving throw. Carter, you did not. So
Do I see, like, Carter getting choked?
you see this as this happens immediately. Yes. So give me 1 second.
Okay.
So many bad decisions, guys. We made so many bad decisions.
Carter, you take 13 necrotic damage. And Cray, you take 6.
Alright.
Des immediately drops to her knees. Just wait, I'll do it. Just give me a minute, please.
Don't.
I'll go up to Carter and I'll start, like, grabbing the necklace, even if it's, like, burning my hands, and just pull it off.
Okay,
Yeah, Cray
roll
is tearing his armor off.
Okay, roll me strength checks, both of you.
Oh, fuck. I forgot.
That sounds right.
Good job, guys.
It's not happening.
He's just like he has been crying quite a bit today, and having seen everybody die and then come back and we win, he's not giving up this time, and he's gonna stare you right in the eye while he's feebly trying to take this armor off, and just be like, "Don't you give him an inch."
She closes her eyes on her knees on the ground and grabs her holy symbol. And I want to try to make a plea to the Raven Queen.
Okay. You can say it out loud, or you can text me, or I guess.
I will text you.
Okay.
While she does that, can I try to see if there's any reaction to the sun sword? Like if I ignite it and press it against the periap, does the radiant affect anything?
Yeah, sure. As you do that and you get your sword out, it is vibrating like violently in your hand, almost as if it's angry, essentially. And this weird surge of anger pours through you as you're holding the hilt. And you're activating it, you said?
Yeah.
And you're just holding it, or are you trying to like saw it off, or?
I'm just going to try to press like the radiant blade to the necklace, see if it does anything at all.
Give me a second. It heats up even more, but just pressing it against it does not seem to have any immediate effect, as it were. No.
I try to squirm out of my armor instead of pull it off.
You can attempt to squirm again, although it's squeezing pretty tight.
Okay, is that a saving throw or just?
Let's do. What should we do? I guess because you're squirming.
Squirm, bitch,
Dude.
squirm.
Dexterity saving throw, but at disadvantage.
I guess can also try to see if these cards just gonna be like, hey, it's probably not gonna work, but don't cut me too bad. And I want to try to see if I can cut the necklace off.
Okay. Huh. Roll me a dexterity check as well, because you're having to, like, get it under. Again, with disadvantage. Actually, I'll say again with disadvantage, actually, because it's basically in your skin at this point.
A check or a save?
Let's do a check. Okay. You do cut yourself, and you feel the radiant energy burning you, but you are beginning to kind of get under it. You manage to get the light blade underneath the chain itself, and it's feeling pretty fucking hot. As you both are doing this, roll me other Constitution saving throws, please. Ooh.
Roll 20.
Ooh!
Oh my
Hell
god.
yeah, guys.
That has to be good for something. That has to be good for something. Shit.
Yeah, you take 7 points of necrotic damage.
I want to like
But you're holding
help Carter
steadfast.
with like cutting the necklace off. Like give him
Okay.
an extra like what's it called? Like just like giving him an extra pull to the sun sword.
Okay. Yeah, let's take another one. Are you still trying to squirm out, Cray? Or are you doing anything else? Trying anything else?
Hey, hold on. I need to roll something for Craig. Yep. He's gonna look at everyone panicking. Can't get this thing off. I'm gonna try something stupid.
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
If I don't come back, reach in
Oh,
and think of
no.
me. He's gonna
No,
drop his
what?
bag of holding on the ground and try to jump into it, in hopes that getting off the plane will stop Strahd's magic from affecting it, and he could take the armor off. He's gonna take a deep breath and like jumping into a swimming pool, just like into the bag.
Okay, give me a second to...
Yep. Good luck. I have no idea, because that's all I got. I have nothing else that I can do. The only infusion that even slightly affects things is my fucking bag of holding.
And now somebody has to reach in for it. Somebody
He literally looks at everyone and said, I'm gonna do something really stupid. If I don't come back in 5 minutes, think of me and reach in there.
Okay. We will get there when we get there, because
Yeah.
I gotta think about this for a second.
Yeah.
Give me a second to think about this for a second.
If nothing else, I'm gonna confuse the fuck out of Strahd and hope that buys everyone else another minute.
Okay.
And he's gonna, as he jumps in, he's gonna look one last time. Not an inch, Des. And he's gonna jump in.
Irina is like super confused, by the way. She's just looking between like Des on the ground on her knees, to Cray suddenly disappearing into a bag of holding, to what looks to be from afar Carter and Seraph both attempting to behead Carter at the same time, and who's just like, what are you?
You got any hag powers that could help us out while we're in this dire strait? As he's sawing at this.
He's just kind of like looking around, still trying to get her bearings.
It's really peaceful where I'm at. It's quiet.
And no air.
No air.
There's no air. He's still struggling against the armor in the astral sea. He's just sort of drifting and kind of pulling against it, trying to get it to come off. There's actually 10 minutes of air in there for me too. It's not until 10 minutes that I have to start.
Yeah,
making
it's not a lot. On top of your Constitution mod, which is how long you can hold your breath. So
Yeah.
It's like I
we'll
got,
get to
like,
that in a
13
second. give me 1 second to read.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Take your time, no rush.
Gosh,
Just
just life and death
dying.
here.
Also, while she was praying, can she have passively been using her bonus action to keep using the Aura of Vitality?
Is that a concentration?
It is. So that's why I'm not sure if I can or not.
Yeah. Well, you're not
I'm
using
not exactly
technically-
concentrating, but I'm not exactly not concentrating.
Roll me just a wisdom saving throw, just really quick.
Hey, at least I'm good at that.
Yeah, you're fine. You've
Okay, cool.
got this on. Yeah, it's like a passive thing for you in the back of your head.
Alright, I think I have 4 more rounds of it. Hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 5, 6. So 4 more as
I don't think
this was
you
all
can.
going on.
I don't think you can reach Cray, however.
Is he further than 30 feet away from me?
He's in
He's
another
on a different
dimension.
plane.
Well, yeah,
I'm in my
this
bag of
was
holding.
this was before he did that, as they were
Okay.
taking damage from the magical items, because it only lasts a minute
It was-
anyways.
Yeah, it was 2 rounds that he was taking damage so far. So
Yeah, so I'll do 2 on each of them.
okay.
So 12
Those
for Cray,
ones.
right? And Carter. 10.
Okay.
Not great, but hopefully it at least negates a little bit of the damage you've been taking.
It's better than nothing.
Okay. What should I do? Should I message you back or should I?
Up to you.
Don't know what I was expecting. It was not this.
Right?
You know, in retrospect, should have expected the items, you know, to...
I mean, that part, yes, we should have expected that. Immensely.
Definitely
Okay.
should have seen that one coming.
Give me 1 second.
Again, no rush.
I am Russian.
No.
You need to give us inspiration points for that horrible pun.
Yeah.
Too bad, I already have one that I've had the entire fucking game and never used.
Oh my god.
Even though
No,
you know what I could have used it on? The thing to solve this fucking situation, because I could have used it on to reroll that goddamn dice.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh
Right?
shit!
I remember
Yeah, I've
that.
had this inspiration point since the beginning of the goddamn game, and I've never remembered to use it.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
Oh
Right?
wow, that's a low blow. Des, answer my question on Discord. Sorry for the clicky clacks.
That's all good.
The clicky clacks.
I'm sorry, the only thing that I could think to do is jump in my bag of holding.
Avoid
Hey,
the
this-
situation.
This beats fighting a house, you know. We gotta take those little victories where we can.
Well, okay, while we're doing this, Cray, you're in the bag of holding. And, you're in the bag of holding. Nothing is happening, but also nothing is happening. If you'd like to try to get out...
Yeah, I mean, okay, so under optimal conditions, doffing my armor would take 5 minutes. So, I am prepared to take the armor off, taking however long it takes. I have 13 minutes in here. As long as it lets me, it doesn't crush me while I'm trying to do it. I should be able to take it off.
Right. Go ahead and roll me another dexterity saving throw, because it's still very tight around you. It hasn't, like, loosened. Oh. Okay.
Oh,
Apparently, I am
Hopefully
like a
that's a good
fish in the astral sea.
You are like a fish in the astral sea. You begin doffing the armor. It will still take you 5 minutes, but let's circle back to that because time is passing. Yeah. All right, Seraph and Carter, you are still attempting to not saw off Carter's head. Roll me a dexterity check. I wouldn't even say at advantage because the help just cancels out disadvantage. So go ahead.
Just Carter?
Just Carter, yeah. Because you're helping.
Oh.
You manage to nick yourself even further in the shoulder blade and take... I don't freaking know. You're not really attacking with it or
3
anything.
stupid damage.
You take 1 point of flashing damage.
Radiant.
Ow.
Nicking yourself, yeah, radiant damage. Nicking yourself in the neck with a sword.
Clickety-clack secret conversations.
Yep.
Sorry.
Good conversation.
I would have done this before the game, but that would have given away the thing, so...
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
If anybody wants to go to the bathroom and take a little break...
Sorry.
Yeah.
Very complicated choice.
It is. Fuck. Just think about Moss. How would we explain this? How would we? Don't make me have to explain it to him.
I cast Exposition at 3rd level.
I can't be the one to have to tell Savine that you didn't come back.
Oh,
Oh
God.
no, Sabine. I can't tease him on his crush.
Oh no, it would be so tragic.
You guys are never going to be able to explain sex to Jess.
Oh.
I know that was really high up on the priority list.
He's just watching all his stuff drift around him. Gold. Tink.
It's like those like performance magic tricks where they're in a straitjacket floating in the water trying to get out before they suffocate. That's just Cray sliding out of his armor in the fucking bag of hold.
He's just in a big swimming pool of junk, and it's just sort of drifting around him, and he's like kicking off stuff. The mimic in a box comes up and kind of like latches onto him, and he has to get off me. No, too busy right now. No, go away.
Okay.
Well, hey, with this, maybe Strixhaven will be all like, well, hey, we like your ingenuity and creativity. You can attend the school.
Ray's been to an academy. He's got a degree. He's a pioneer. He's a man who wants to forge new trails, not follow someone else's footsteps.
All right.
Also,
Well, Cray, you can't Cray, you can't really see anything, so unfortunately you're going to be out of the scene for the time being because you're
I
doffing
hear
your
you.
armor.
I hear you.
Yeah. As all of this is happening, Carter and Seraph, you are probably the ones that are the most aware of this. Seraph, you're pushing down on the sword, Carter's trying to push back away from it, and you go, fuck, as you're nicking him in the shoulder, and you look back, just to see Cray disappear into his bag like a dolphin, and he's just no longer in the room. You hear him say something about, like, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, think of me and reach into the bag. But there's not a lot of time to kind of interpret all of this, and you look back at Irina, who's still looking between you and the bag and Des, and then you all look at Des simultaneously, and you realize that there is someone standing behind her as she is kneeling on the floor with her hands clasped around her symbol. And just as this happens, it's silent, and everything kind of comes to a halt, for lack of a better word. And two pairs of dark wings sweep out from the back, almost like a curtain, and just envelop her. And Des, you
Talking
find
like
yourself in darkness for just a brief moment. And you can no longer see your friends, you can no longer see Irina, but it's also quieter and calmer. You, even though he hasn't spoken to you in, the last 30 seconds, you suddenly feel as if you are shielded from even Strahd himself no longer speaking in your mind, and it feels peaceful in a way that it hasn't for a long, long time since you've come to Barovia. And you look down into your hands, and you see that small flame, that small soul flickering, and you realize that you're cupping it in your hands now, holding it in front of you. And as something leans down over you, it's almost motherly in the way that you've never quite experienced. And just warm hands envelop you, and you realize, oh, they're not hands, they're feathers. It's almost like feathers are wrapping around you. And just a gentle voice goes, "You've done well. It's not your time either. But I think there's ways we can still fix this." And the darkness suddenly falls away, and the figure disappears. And left in its place is a strangely familiar sight of a pile of armor and clothes. But no Des.
Carter, I'm gonna check on Des.
Yeah, go for it. I'm no stranger to these whole life or death situations.
I'll go in and start digging through the armor and clothing and things that belong to Des.
You're digging for a while, but as you reach it, suddenly a voice booms out in all of your heads, except for Cray's. Sorry, Cray, you're still not here.
All good. All
You
good.
into a bag.
Carter and Seraph and even Irina seem to all be feeling this, because Irina also looks up at the ceiling, almost expecting him to arrive, and it's just a dark hiss, just, "No! No, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where did you..." And there is just a peal of thunder, a loud crack of thunder that sounds almost as if the house itself has gotten hit, if you've ever been close enough to lightning, where it's
Ray's
almost
having
immediately above
flashbacks from
your
a
house.
previous
I
life.
know, I am
By
too.
the way. Very familiar bit of lightning. He's like, he's 3/4 out of his armor. He's like, huh, interesting.
Can you hear anything from outside? I don't know.
No, he can't. He is on an entirely different plane of existence at the moment and running out of
I'm
air.
pretty
It's
sure,
great.
yeah.
It's wonderful. This is optimal.
Yeah. Yeah, you all hear this. The house itself sways briefly, and Irina just kind of claps her hands over her ears and falls to her knees for a second, and her body seems to be wrecked with something. And then she just collapses. Seraph, you turn around and look at her on the floor. You turn around and look at Carter, who is still clutching the necklace and is still kind of hurting him. Carter, I'm presuming, are you pausing or are you still trying to saw it off?
I mean, if it's still hurting me, he'll still try to saw it off.
It is still hurting you. Roll me a Constitution check really quick.
Fair question. Is mine hurting me?
Oh, wait,
Yours is
check.
not.
My bad.
All right.
No, no
Good.
saves.
So the gamble
Or
worked.
Constitution save is fine. Yeah, yours is no longer hurting, and you are managing to get it off. Actually, Carter, you take 11 points of necrotic damage, and you can go ahead and try to roll another dexterity check to try to saw it off. Not bad.
Disadvantage didn't even matter that time.
Right.
Yeah, you're making some headway. You're beginning, and you can almost hear it like making that weird grinding metallic sound, which it shouldn't do. It's just a simple chain. It shouldn't even be this difficult. But you're getting somewhere. You can feel the metal begin to give way. Roll me another Constitution check really quick. We're kind of catching up because we're doing this out of order. Oof.
Did you say check or save?
Oh, sorry, save. Constitution save. And then another dexterity check. This will be the last one. Okay, so that's 19 points of necrotic. Wow.
Hell yeah. Getting better.
Okay.
Even
And
better.
with the last one, even as your knees are buckling with the pain of this weird, life-draining magic that's pulsing into you from the periapt, you pull one last time and you force the sword through, and you hear, more than you feel, the chain just break with a shattering sound, and suddenly it clatters on the ground next to you. And for a time, everything is quiet again. Seraph, you're still searching.
Down.
I
Really
took apart the armor to see if there's a bird or something.
You take apart the armor and you're like, where is it? Where is it? And you find a whole bunch of pouches, and then your fingers find something softer. And you look inside, and there is feathers at your fingertips. They're not moving.
Carter, I don't know if Des is with us anymore.
What's
Also-
up? What's happening?
Also, has it been more than 5 minutes?
Weirdly enough, it has not yet. This is all happening in rounds. This is all
It's
happening
all
in
really
rounds.
happening quickly.
Yeah.
All right, well, Carter will pull himself up off the ground and come see what he's looking at.
All right. As you come up, the floorboards creaking underneath you, Seraph, you look down again and you begin to kind of pull apart the last layers of the armor and the clothes. And you pull out what is now a familiar, slightly smaller than average form of a raven. And it's still in your hands.
Is it, like, alive?
You lean closer, roll a medicine check.
Oh, fuck. Oh, I'm decent.
You're decent. You're like, you kind of lean closer and lean your ear against it, and then pull back as a beak suddenly, like, nips you in the ear.
Yeah, ow!
You're a monster.
Des? I just have
Think that
this
is a good sign?
confused look. I don't know what to say. Wait, so Irina, like, passed out or fainted or something?
Arena is currently passed out on the floor.
Should we check on her?
Hand comes out of the back.
Oh, Jesus.
And like a bag giving birth to a man.
Oh, God. A human.
Roll me a dexterity check to crawl out of the bag effectively.
I was gonna ask if there was even a way out, or if I had to
I
wait for
don't.
somebody
I
to
think
actually
you
go.
have to. There's not like a discernible exit.
I didn't know if there was going to be like a tiny little sphincter of reality somewhere in the
Yeah,
astral
I
sea
thought
with
of
me that could be
that.
like, I'm going for it.
Yuck.
Roll me a dexterity check to try to go towards the sphincter. Nah,
Again.
you're just doggy
No. Oh my
paddling in
God.
space.
Occasionally, I'll kick off of something thinking it's going to give me momentum because he hasn't done a lot in 0G, so he doesn't realize, the whole equal and opposite reaction. So he kicks off of a box, and the two of them kind of like spiral off in opposite
Yep.
directions.
Yep, that's basically what's happening. It still hasn't been. You're still you're mostly out of the armor now, and you're just trying to swim as you're doing it. You're not aware of anything that's happened so far, unfortunately.
Nope.
Well, the two conscious people, well, three conscious people on the board like to do anything else?
I mean, I got nothing to help. If you want to perform your medicine miracles on her, feel free. I've got potions if that'll help, but
I don't even know what to try.
put deaths on her, see what happens.
So or like I'll go over to Arena and like check to see if she has a pulse or if she's breathing.
You walk over to Irina and you lean over her. Roll me a medicine check.
The crow would like to hop down and make one as well.
All right.
If I can.
Sure. Why not?
Crow medicine.
Crow medicine.
Not good.
Sarah, if you lean over Irina's body and you immediately go for her vitals and you're beginning to check, the crow also hops over and just looks at the body for a second and then pecks it right in the cheek. And Irina suddenly jerks up and goes, "Ow, fuck!"
Yeah.
Looks over at you and goes, "What?" Looks over at Seraph and goes, "Ah, what? What happened?
You
What happened?"
passed out. That's what happened.
Rita kind of looks around and goes, "What happened to the other one? Is Strahd here? What
We're
did you
waiting
do?"
on him. He said give him 5 minutes. Has it been 5? You've been out. You don't know. Never mind.
Like to,
Carter's realized that he has no way to gauge, so he's gonna put his hand in, thinking about Cray.
I see a hand from
You see
the
a
sphincter
hand
of reality.
emerge. And it is weird because reality kind of shifts around you and suddenly you're drifting closer.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking convenient.
You
You
say
don't
with
say
your
as
last
you are running
breaths
out of air.
Yeah. Running out of air.
I got air. I'm not even out of the bag still has air. I haven't even.
Yeah, the bag still has
Mhm.
it's thin
A
air.
little bit. Getting thin.
But yeah, you grasp the hand and Carter at the same time you feel something grasp your hand back, and if you want to pull, it's easy enough. It's not graceful by any means, but
Yep. He'll pull
Like
himself
that
out,
scene
and
from
while
Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, you probably had to pick the bag up and just kind of like shake me out.
yeah. Yeah.
Out. Get out.
Oh, hold on. And he'll reach in. And he's gonna grab his scale mail and he's gonna start putting that back on while we're talking.
Okay.
At least you had a backup.
Oh, yeah, it's why I hold on to everything. You never know when it's gonna be used. And he kind of looks around. What happened to Des? Where is she?
I just gently pick up the crow and be like,
Well, that's better than I was expecting.
though normally
Kinda look
she'd be
closer.
able to turn back, but she
Yeah,
hasn't.
Can you?
Crow just kind of fluffs indignantly.
Interesting. Well, I guess, here, and he'll go over and he'll start.
She likes you more. Go, keep her with you.
Just kind of like put his shoulder down. But he'll get her stuff gathered after he gets his scale mail put back on.
Okay.
Would you like me to send you the contents of my everything?
I I have to read it, but whether you do it right now or later, I'm good with it.
Arena is just still kind of sitting shell-shocked on the floor, and she just goes, would anybody like to explain what the hell just happened?
Oh. Are you you again?
Kind of pats herself down and looks at Cray quizzically and goes, in what way do you mean?
Do you have a soul?
That one. That's what I mean.
Kind of looks between the two of you, and her expression immediately sours, and she goes, I told you I made a deal.
Oh. Right. Okay. I wanted to see where we were landing. And, was curious.
Look, it's the least of our worries right now. Where's your friend?
The crow makes an angry, caw.
Harina looks over at the crow and just kind of peers back a little bit and goes, is that? Wait.
That's
no,
her.
That make any sense. What? He?
Oh, no.
She says as she kind of begins to stand up and just go through the motions of making tea again. The house kind of shifts for a moment and you feel it lurching as it kind of straightens itself. But then it comes to settle again.
Alright then. Alright, let me explain to you, Cray, and maybe Carter. As to what happened, I still don't know what happened.
The end.
Yeah.
As I was helping Carter, I saw a figure with black wings, and she, I don't know, embraced Des, and then Des was gone, and I found that in the pile of things. And
Yeah,
then
I saw
Irina
it.
passed out.
I don't know what that's about. I'm assuming some shit above my pay grade.
We get paid?
You guys are getting paid?
Your first check's in the mail, Sarah. Don't worry. You should be getting it whenever we finish all of this fuckery.
It better be a check with lots of zeros.
It won't.
It's all zeros.
It's just terrible.
Fuck.
It doesn't have a lot of zeros. It's just there before any other numbers.
And then a 1.
1 copper.
No, not even 1 copper, half a copper.
A fraction of a copper.
So, yeah, I don't know what happened to Des. I don't know if she would become Des ever again.
I mean, there's no way any of us could know that. We've been down this road with Des before. Des has turned into a bird. Sometimes she turns back. Maybe she won't this time, but that's so much not a problem for right now. The problem for right now is where we are, who we're currently in company with. No offense intended, Arena. It's just
Arena just kind of turns to you and gives you a weird withering look and then just goes, do you want tea or not?
Listen, I have been waiting on this tea this entire time.
I would like to as the tea comes out, I'll cast Detect Poison and Disease, but yeah, as long as everything's good, it's, not gonna kill us.
She brings it out. You detect poison and disease. You detect a slight amount of mold, but nothing lethal. You think it's probably closer to, just the general state of things. But she stirs it in there, and she places several weirdly cracked mugs. One of them is actually, a bowl. She originally intentionally gives it to Cray first, and then she goes, and sets it out in front of the bird, which is presumably perched on his shoulder.
Probably.
She hops down and kind of close to Arena's tone of voice, just tea.
Arena kind of startles back from that and goes, tea?
Oh, I think I read crows are able to mimic certain words.
Alright, well, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Crodes do that.
Still confused about what's... Hold on, let's just go back to the beginning because I'm afraid that we're missing pieces. You said, and she turns to Cray, that you made a deal with Strahd.
He kind of takes a sip of his tea. Is it decent?
It's not the greatest.
It's like better.
It's foresty. It's bitter. Yeah, it's bitter, and it tastes a little bit of like... You get almost like a fungal herbal mix. It's not an Earl Grey or anything. It's like a strange green tea.
He takes a sip of it and then washes it around in his mouth and goes over to the door and kind of like spits a big wad of what looks like a tooth out. He's like, oh, that's better. All right, here, and takes it, sips it. It's like, it's not bad. So, yes, obviously, we have had it on our to-do list for a while now to determine the fate that befell you when the hag at the windmill knocked all of us unconscious and killed that one for the first time. And kind of like thumbs over to Des.
That one.
Right. I kind of assumed that you had all died, to be honest, so I wasn't...
I think we were supposed to. I think they saved us. They were going to like eat us, probably. I don't know. I woke up. Here's all I know. I woke up next to that guy and our other friend, almost naked, no gear. Des was dead, and we ran. A whole bunch of shit has gone down since then. A whole bunch. There's been elves and bandits, and I've gone through 2 dogs now, and there's been a lot getting here because we knew that the evil that had taken you, the saga, was not one to be trifled with lightly, as yesterday proved with the near, destruction of our little band of adventurers. Before coming here, we had been invited to dine with Strahd. You know how he is. He likes to make himself feel important, to think that he's in charge. And he'd been bugging us for a while, and kept sending letters. It was getting a bit embarrassing for him, so we finally were like, alright, we'll come over for dinner. And while we were there, he asked us to look into your current location and see if we could rescue you from your current predicament. He wasn't even asking us to bring you to him. He just wanted us to get you out of here. Which I'm guessing now is probably a lie. But yeah, that's more or less the short version of it all.
Kind of sighs into her tea. Goes, well, for one thing, I appreciate you killing Lasaga, but I did not otherwise need a rescue, as it were. Very common of him to take it upon himself.
Might disagree. I'm sorry to interrupt, but your brother might disagree, and he loves you. Whether you believe it or not, he was trying to keep you safe, as were we.
You're also kind of part of a prophecy that you gotta keep rolling, and I don't know how that works if we lose one. So we were kind of gonna, even if you didn't want to be saved, we were gonna come in and save you. So sorry, I guess.
Seraph is like dozing off, only slightly. Like just trying to stay awake.
Look, it's not that I don't appreciate it, and I understand that Ismark is probably... he's probably already buried me in his own way. And I understand that he loves me, but he has other things to live for. I've never been anything more than a burden to all of the village, really. And not to sound presumptuous, but this is strangely a little bit better than what I've had before.
You would rather live the rest of your life as a hag than a person?
I mean, think of it, Seraph. Out here, Arena is Arena's own boss. They make their own decisions every day as to what they do, where they go, who they talk to. That's freedom. And yeah, it's
Irina
kind of horrible out here, but it's horrible everywhere.
Irina kind of leans over towards Cray and points to him and goes, "Bingo."
I mean, that's it's the ideal. But it's up to each individual to determine what they're willing to pay for that freedom. Honestly, I don't fault Irina for the choice that she made. I wish to the depths of my soul that we could have protected you better and kept you safer so that you weren't brought to this choice, but I understand the choice. I understand.
Look, to be honest, even if you had protected me, where would I be? In Valaki? Still be able to find me there. I would just be hiding my entire life.
So that place got burned down. You'd probably be at Kresk.
Oh,
Actually pretty
good.
safe in Kresk. We got a tavern going. I'm trying to think of a name for it.
Does your tavern have
there's-
legs?
It does not.
Hey,
Fortunately.
can now since you have the ability to walk this house around, you can go set up shop with that.
I was thinking, if you wouldn't mind, while we're having this conversation, bringing us at least to the edge of the swamp, that would be super convenient. It'd save us at least like
3
half a
days.
day's hike, maybe 2 days. It'd save us a lot of time. And it would it would mean a lot.
Considers it, thinks for a moment, and then taps the table a little bit, and she goes, "Can be arranged." She kind of closes her eyes for a moment, and the house lurches again, and all of the little not cutlery, what am I thinking?
Hold on 1 second. And he whistles, and there's a metallic and then the sounds of claws coming up, and then plap. Deodadar runs into the house. All right, we're all here now.
Kind of pauses, looks at the dog, and goes, "You said you went through 3 dogs. That one looks the same as the..." All right, anyway.
That's the Mark III.
If you need nothing else, certainly, let's go. And the house lurches again, and it kind of takes a while to rebalance itself, but aside from the initial jump, it's actually quite smooth. And you can't see a lot out of the windows, but you can definitely see scenery moving, and every once in a while you hear cracking branches deep down below.
So,
And some sloshing.
Irina.
Yes?
What happened to the Mother Hag? The one that captured you and brought you here?
I'm presuming you killed her. Oh, you mean the one back at the...
Oi, the one at the windmill, not Lysaga. She's very much a dead corpse back where we just came from.
I hope so.
But the Mother Hag, we killed the 2 daughters, and the only one that was left was that one, and she got away, didn't she? Like, out of character. I thought she got away.
Yeah, she
Yes, she got
teleported out
Irina.
with Irina.
She teleported, yeah.
Yeah.
That
She
one.
bamped.
Oh, yes, that's right. Morgana.
Yes,
I
Morgana.
haven't seen her in a while. The saga scared her quite badly when she was taking her away from me. Morgana was initially using me as a token, and... well, after Lysaga got what she wanted, she, I don't think they agreed on much. Wherever Morgana is, she may have taken residence in one of the forests, but Irina kind of thinks about it for a moment, looks up at the ceiling thoughtfully, taps her fingernails, which are longer than you remember, on the teacup, and then goes, "I think I can probably find her. Take care of her. I don't think I like having competition in these woods." That might be my next stop.
That would be good. Second question. The people of the townships. Kresk, the few that remain of Valaki, those that live in Barovia. What are your feelings towards them?
Rita kind of thinks for a little bit. Not many feelings, to be honest. Didn't interact much with people before, but they've never been particularly kind to me, nor particularly bad, I suppose. I don't really care much for them. I'm beginning to come to terms with the fact that I'm not one of them anymore.
If you were to be left alone in these woods, you'd be content with that?
Kind of looks at you
Wouldn't take
and
any
slowly
frustrations?
smiles. He goes, "Are you asking me if I'm going to capture children and eat them?"
Among other horrific things, yes. I just didn't really have the time to outline it all over a cup of tea.
I have no such current inclinations, but I'll let you know if that changes.
Just gently pecks Arena in the hand.
He goes, "Ow. Well, what do you want me to say?"
I couldn't understand her when she was a tiefling. I'm definitely not going to be able to translate for you now.
You know, she still believed in the stork bringing babies.
She did.
Arena
Now
kind
she
of looks at Carter and tilts her head and goes, "The what?"
Technically, it
Oh,
was
man.
ravens,
Oh.
not the stork.
Dust doesn't know what sex is.
Oh,
He just puts his head into his hand.
Who-
she looks back at Des and goes, "I don't think you're going to be able to remedy that fact any better in her condition now.
No.
She is
now
very
she is
cute."
the one who brings babies.
Des is on the table like, "Oh no, do I have a job now? Where do I get the babies?"
Where do they come from? Is
We're
there
back
a
to square one.
factory?
Alright then. So you have no inclinations towards harming or accosting the peoples of Barovia. What
Not unless they
do
try to
you
harm
want?
me first.
What do you want? What do you want to do or to achieve here? Now that Lasaga's gone, Morgana, your only other hag within the country.
I mean, do
No,
you want to
not
help us
yet.
get it Strahd whenever the time comes? We could always use more hands on deck for that.
That would be interesting. Lasaga was in the process of teaching me many of the things that she herself found useful, but unfortunately she didn't get very far before you came and offed her. Not that I would be opposed, you understand, but I'm just now getting my bearings, and if you're about to go take care of Strahd now, you might understand that it would be more advantageous for me to sit back and watch how that goes and learn from your mistakes.
We've got a couple other pots in the oven, but as soon.
I wouldn't mind helping in my own way, but please understand that I'm... And she kind of scowls saying this and goes, "I'm not yet a match for him. I planned on using my newfound longevity in a single body to, well, learn, I suppose.
You wanted to
Bide
play
my
the
time.
waiting game?
Well,
I mean,
I've been on this plane for a long time, pink-haired one. What is your name?"
Seraph.
"Seraph. Yes. Why are you so colorful?"
Should I not be?
Kind of leans back and goes, "No, I suppose it's fine. Just rare to see colors around here." "How are you not covered in mud?"
you know, I was curious too, but
Game.
game?
Karina kind of looks over at the raven and kind of reaches out and scratches the top of your head a little bit.
She just like looks at Arena and just in the first word like being in Seraph's voice and the second one in Arena just long game.
Long game.
Long game indeed.
Unfortunately, the rest of us are kind of restricted to the next, I don't know, 15, 20 years being capable. I don't want to spend the next 15 to 20 days here. So,
We might.
oh, we're probably gonna, but kind of just sits there. It's just like I don't know what. I mean, we had other.
Can we sleep? I'm falling asleep.
Don't go for
Carter goes, yeah, make yourselves at home as he pours himself another cup of tea.
it.
Kind of glances over at Carter and she goes, if you want something stronger, I believe there's probably some sort of moonshine under the bed.
Got some old
Boy,
vinegar
do I,
wine.
but I cannot. Thanks for that.
Carter can't drink alcohol. It just turns into water in his mouth.
Magic.
Ray's gonna
Right.
take the sign out and
Magic.
start drinking.
Well, that's suppose doesn't stop any of the rest of you. Kind of
No, it
pulls
does.
up.
'Cause Carter's gonna grab it and down it all at once.
Oh.
He can't drink. Nobody can drink.
That's just rude, Carter. And he kind of
Carter.
he sips the tea with just a little bit of the moonshine in it that he was able to get from him.
Crow. Moonshine.
Can crows drink?
I don't know.
Crow.
If it's I don't know if it's a good idea if she should.
Moonshine.
Moonshine.
Would not recommend it. You're welcome to sleep here, I suppose, but just for a night. I'm personally planning to redecorate now that the abode, as it were, is mine. But where exactly? The house kind of pauses for a bit, and you all sway just a little bit. He goes, "Where am I taking you?"
North, just to the northern edge of the swamp.
Kresk.
No, we're not going all the way to Kresk. I am not gonna roll up
Tavern.
on Kresk with a walk-in house. No, we're not. We're gonna go see the tavern and we're gonna go see our friends, but we've got to walk up as us, not in a walk-in house.
Meow.
I know. It's alright. Just the northern edge of the swamp arena.
All right, your choice. Suppose I could take you as far as could take you as far as that old castle.
We good.
Suit yourself.
Actually, can we do one other thing? Roll it back just a little bit because I kind
Sure.
of forgot, but I don't think we would have forgotten.
Hmm.
The giant skull.
Oh yeah. If you wanted to ask about that,
What was
We
that
had
all
asked
about?
about that. Is it a dragon skull? Can we take it with us? Sorry, you mentioned Argynvost, and I was like, oh right.
Arena, as you begin to say that, Arena kind of looks back at you and she goes, "Oh, the skull. What about it? I'm carrying it with me right now." And she kind of motions over her shoulder. And if the door opens briefly, and if one of you were to peek out, you see that the house, as it's moving, like one of the roots is wrapped around the skull itself.
Dragon skull.
Well,
It's
that's
not a dragon
interesting.
skull. Well, it may have at one point been a dragon skull, but
How
why?
that's important. It's really important. Hey, Seraph, I got a question for you. Do you speak Draconic? Can you read Draconic?
That's a good question. I don't.
Well,
Damn it. Alright.
Because I was only given one option for her.
Yeah. Right. Well,
I know exactly what you're referring to, and the funniest thing is, nope. You know what? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you.
oh,
you're so, that's
Wow.
so mean. It's so mean.
Okay, hold on. Because it's gray. Roll me just a general history. Just a general history check.
Natural 20.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
damn, man.
As you're looking at Seraphine going, "Do you know Draconic?" Something in the back of your head just goes, tap, tap, tap.
Huh? What?
And then you go, "Wait a minute. I think we actually do know somebody who can read Draconic. Or can speak
Between
Draconic."
boss can read Draconic.
Haha.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna ask of you, Rena. When you drop us off at the castle, can you leave that skull?
I was planning on using it. What exactly did you need it for?
What were
What did
gonna
you
use
need it for?
It's enchanted. She used it to fly around. pretty sure it's not even a dragon skull.
There's a long ago, and he starts like going into the actual tale of the silver dragons and Argynvost, and them standing against Strahd. He's not going to go into the details about it bringing the daylight back, but he will be going into it being a mortal enemy of Strahd's, and that the skull was, I think it was taken by one of his enemies and was being held by it, and we were looking for it. And that we know where the rest of the body is, and we know where the shrine is all right there.
Kind of like,
You know, it's like all over about 2 cups of tea.
yeah. Kind of scratches her head a little bit, and then she goes outside and opens the door, goes up into the veranda, and kind of like motions. And as it's really actually nauseating because the house is still moving, and it's like being on an open truck bed essentially. That's
This is weird.
yeah. But one of the roots lifts up and kind of brings the skull closer, and she goes, "If I learned my history, and I do indeed know what you're talking about, I don't believe this is actually large enough to be what you assume it is."
Dragon!
Kind of looks back at it. She goes, "Certainly looks draconic in nature, but Lasaga's been around for a long time. I suppose that it's difficult to ascertain where she got this one, but feel as if..."
Shrunk it? Made it smaller? Because Lasaga was around during the same time. She was here during the forging of this land as its own little tiny bubble plane. I know she had a hand in it. Pretty sure we've learned that much about her.
You do know that she was around even before Strahd came to the land.
Strahd and Barovia.
Yeah.
So she would have been here during that conflict.
I doubt that Strahd would have allowed her to take such a token of...
But he has stopped her, because he couldn't even get his carriage close to this house. He had to drop us off a good 2 days hike away from here, because he couldn't drop us off any closer, because his magic couldn't get that close to her.
Sneaky.
Exactly.
Super annoying.
Is there something in regards to the two of them that could have explained why? Because you're right, he shouldn't have just let an enemy of his go off with something that powerful, but if he didn't have a choice.
Kind of ponders this for a while, and then comes back to the table and picks up the tea again. Starts making a new round for everybody. From what I understand, Lasaga and Strahd have for a long time been locked in a very strange... I wouldn't even call it a partnership. He despises her, I'm certain of it, but she unnerves him as well. In terms of magical power, they're nearly matched, although there are things on his side, such as the fact that he's able to control most of this demi-plane at his will, but she had things that were able to keep him away, and more so than that, I believe that she creeped him out, for lack of a better word. She was obsessed with him.
Pretty creepy.
Right. No, you don't know the half of it. She believed that he was her child.
Oh, that's creepy.
It was very strange looking into that.
Was he?
No, I don't believe so. He was a nobleman. That's as much as I know of his history. Although much of that is shrouded. No, I believe it was more of like an obsession. She began to treat me as her child very soon after I arrived, so I believe it's something that comes with the territory of living over more centuries than one can count on their 10 fingers.
What are you going to do when you get to that point, Irina?
Well, I suppose adopt a strange vampire? No, I won't. Look, the point is,
I'm just telling you right now, fair warning, it won't be us because this is going to be hundreds of years down the line. I'll be very dead. Could be one of my children or grandchildren, but if you
well, I
start
look
making a
forward
ruckus
to
wherever
meeting
you
you.
are, you will.
Well,
So just keep that in mind.
right,
If you keep
right.
it quiet, you can probably live under the radar quite well. Especially if you don't go all like evil, ugly, crazy, nasty looking hag and you stay your nice, lovely self.
Kind of glances at you for a second,
Creepy.
and then immediately her face morphs, and for a moment you see just like her entire form grow and shift into something. It's still Irina, recognizably, but it is definitely more hag-like. And she kind of leans forward and she goes almost teasingly, and there's breath on your face that smells like mildew and something rotten, and she goes, like this.
That's
Yeah,
gross.
that's what you want to
No.
that's what you want to avoid. Oh God! And he starts drinking the tea, and he's like, "I'll take this any day over that." Oh,
Kind of leans back and cackles, and it is cackling. It's like
Just
and then she shakes herself almost like a dog, and she returns back to her usual visage.
you
peck her
know,
in the hand again.
Kind of pulls her hand away as she goes, "What? It's
Ow.
I actually kind of enjoy it."
just want to be forward. You know, immortality itself. Long-lived species
Hmm.
tend to treat those with shorter lives as less, and if you do, those with those shorter lives will start throwing those lives at you to end yours. So, just
Seems like a waste.
to them, it's not to stop you from feeding. So just keep that in mind as you move forward in your new existence.
Keep in mind, you are riding in my house, and I am feeding you tea.
Yes, this
I
is
haven't
true.
poisoned you yet.
And keep in mind that we just killed the one that made you this way. There's a lot of balance in this moment right here, Arena. There's a lot of strength on both sides. That's why this table is a fair table to talk at. Because we both have strength here.
S kicks over her bowl of tea.
And we can work together. I personally have nothing but regret over what has happened to you, but that doesn't mean that I inherently want to end you. You haven't done anything, as you said, and we do not judge people based off of their innate being. We judge them off of their actions. So I'm willing to see what kind of actions you take before judgment is laid.
So far, the
You're
only
no
actions I've taken is giving you a road trip and have given you tea, so calm down.
No. I'm sorry. I'm not intending to be heated. If I'm heated, it's because I've watched 3 of my friends almost die today, and it's been a long day.
You do look like shit.
I do, and I feel like it, and the tea is helping, but I really need to get to a safe place that's not your cabin
Sunshine.
and sleep. But while we have the time to talk, I just want to be able to find out where we're at and to know, like we had asked earlier, if down the line you could be called upon to aid if we had such need for your specific skills as they are now. Not looking for you to join us on the front line, but if we need some scary distraction to cause some mayhem and mischief on the side.
Can you do the scarecrow thing? Can you set up creepy, spooky eyes everywhere?
No.
He kind of looks at Carter, and you see her considering this, and she's doing that thing where she's like, "Huh,
No.
She goes, "No, it does make sense what you're saying. It would be easier, certainly, to work together. And I hold no ill will towards you or anyone, really. More than anything, I'm just looking forward to, well, traipsing around these woods and doing things I couldn't before." The scarecrow's she kind of like cringes and goes, "I don't personally have any love for them. They're strange things." I can feel them now. I can feel them now. That's interesting. And it's a little bit difficult. There's a lot of them, and they're not. She kind of cringes again, and she goes, "It'll take me a while to get used to this. But I suppose in time, if there's something that you need, I do owe you quite a bit. You did remove her for me."
We were trying to save you, but tomato, tomato. I guess we'll take whatever victories we can get here, you know.
We were using the wrong formula, but we got the right answer.
Right? Yeah, basically.
It's a good thing we didn't have to show our work. Oh boy.
I'm not good with math.
Oh god, that'd be just a disaster. There'd just be a note saying "see back."
And just an essay explaining why there's no work.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah. You guys, I honestly, I'm cool with just letting her be. Like,
As long
it
as she
seems
doesn't
like,
cause
especially
trouble.
because it seems like Strahd really doesn't want that to be what happens, and he just tried to kill me with the armor he gave me. So fuck that guy.
Yeah, I've been in camp. Fuck that guy right from the outset, so I'm down. I mean,
Oh, shit. I wouldn't. He kind of like points at that short sword. I wouldn't trust that short sword. There's no way to know if he's done anything to it.
Oh yeah,
Her-
the Morning Star.
Well, that's already in the bag because that was part of Dessa's gear.
Should we
So
even keep them?
Cray folded up all of her gear, like kind of meticulously, and folded up all the clothes and put it in the bag of holding.
can you do your identifier detect magic thing? We can just check. It seems like she's not gonna kill us in her own home,
I
and
mean,
she doesn't want to kill us.
I could cast Identify. It does not tell me if an item is cursed.
Mm-hmm.
It specifically cannot detect that kind of enchantment for specific reasons. You know, as part of the enchantment, make it not detectable by Identify. So, that's why I had identified all of what we were wearing, and none of it came back as bad. But you know, ow, and I could see still the scars around your neck where that necklace was hurting you. So, just better safe than sorry. The sword should probably join the armor.
Yeah, Carter kind
bag.
of looks like he went to like the $1 store, like the off-brand version of the guillotine.
Oh no. That one prophecy from such long ago finally almost came true. Where he was
Oh no,
hanged.
the guillotine, yeah, or the yeah. Wow, that was a long time ago.
That was like the first episode.
I mean, I did think that was kind of interesting that he chose the Periapt, but I'm not gonna say anything. It's good. It's good storytelling that I did not intend, but
It
whatever.
is. Hey, sometimes the story tells itself. The narrative knows what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Chekhov.
But-
Am I capable of using Eyes of the Grave?
Does it have a verbal component?
It is a Grave Cleric domain thing, so I don't.
It's an inherent
think so.
ability?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? You're a magical crow, Raven.
Magical Raven.
Can she look at Arena and see if what she tried to do worked or not?
Let me just double check the thing. Gain sense of undead.
Yeah, it's just undead. I don't know if hags are technically undead.
That's also what I want to check.
Right.
There. I mean, you don't get a sense of undead from her.
Okay.
You don't get a sense of undeath.
Okay.
Weird. All right. So, Arena, about that skull. I know it makes the house fly, and that's really neat. Can the house still do its weird spidery, crawly thing without the skull?
Oh, no, the house doesn't need the skull to move. The skull just flies. She would climb into it and fly on it. It's enchanted. I still don't quite think that it's... Kind of thinks for a moment. I was planning to try flying on it as well. Are you certain it's the thing you're looking for?
I am not certain of a damn thing. But, you know, it could be. I couldn't really tell much of what it looked like. It was too covered by the roots and buried, and couldn't see any really distinguishing features in it to even determine if it was draconic. And, you know, it's probably too small. But I also thought that based off of the size of the skeleton, that the shrine that they wanted us to bring the skull to also seemed a bit small. So I don't know. It's just bugging me. And if you're willing to part with it, it would help. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know.
Kind of thinks about it for a moment. She goes, I do not like being indebted, so I do want to give you a present of some sort. Suppose you can have the skull, yes? If it helps.
I mean, if nothing else, he kind of looks over to Carter and Seraph. Gives us a flying skull.
Will it
I don't
actually
know if
fly
you
with
would be
us?
able to...
Des just flaps her own wings.
Yes, I know you can fly, Des.
Arena seems to be also equally taken by the raven, and she's like, yes, you don't need that.
Ooh.
I can't believe you took Des's sword at the beginning of the session. Oh my god.
I was wondering if it would come.
So now, can we take a long rest?
I mean, if you guys would like, you will actually get to the edge of the swamp, like, before nightfall, but Irina's not going to stop you from sleeping in the hut. She's like, it's quite cramped, but if you'd like, certainly.
Ray will stay up, and he's going to sleep when we get to the castle. He'd rather sleep in the spooky, ghost-infested castle than in this house.
She's like, suit yourself.
How, like, dimension-wise, how big is the skull? Like,
The skull itself is large enough for a person to kind of uncomfortably sit in, I suppose. Imagine a... I'm trying to think of a thing that would aptly describe it. Looking around the room. Think of the volume dimensions of, like, a computer chair that is turned on its back.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. It's also strangely, it's like not quite full. It's not quite whole. It has, like, sharp teeth, clearly, as if you're standing outside on the veranda and, like, kind of looking at it as the house moves. But it's also difficult to ascertain what it used to be before she kind of carved away at it and, like, scooped out the cranial part in order to be able to sit on it.
Interesting. Alright. It's like, I don't think it's it, but...
I mean, roll me, it's a new day. It's not a new day. You already did a medicine check. Who made a medicine check on the skull? Or a nature check? Was it Seraph?
No, I don't think it was me. I think it was...
Who was it?
It was me and Des, I think.
Okay. I mean, you can roll another nature check to see if you can...
And I'm pretty sure Seraph was never there to see the skeleton, so...
It's a 16.
I think a nature check from him would be kind of pointless. Like, he'd probably roll the nature check and be all like, yep, that's a skull.
I mean, yeah, basically. I feel like somebody rolled really badly and was like, that sure is a skull,
I rolled
all right.
like a 7.
Yeah.
Prey and Des, on his shoulder, both go over to the skull and are kind of, like, half hanging off of the veranda as the house is moving. There's, like, branches slapping you in the face.
He doesn't care. It's just like, whap, whap, whap.
Kind of look around at the skull. It certainly is large, but you also get the feeling that it's a slightly different shape. And Des keeps like kind of like hopping onto it and then hopping back off of it, and eventually just make a dissatisfied little raven noise, which you assume means it's too wide. It's not like long enough, and based on the skeleton, it's also a lot smaller than you would expect.
Okay.
No.
All right. So not the right size. And yeah, looking at it, it's just that's not line up. Do you know of any massive skulls maybe hidden in the mountains or?
I'm gonna roll a history check for Irina because at this point I don't know how much she knows. History.
She's new to the hack game.
Crowdess will like stick her head into Cray's bag of holding and take out the oh god, what is it? The journal that we got at the place, the Silver Dragon journal.
Oh yeah. Was it a journal or
the,
what was it?
That's what
No,
it's written in there is a Silver Dragon journal. It's
I think
written
that was
in
the
my
doctrine
inventory.
of the Holy Order of Valencia.
Oh yeah.
It was a burned and slashed book detailing the rites and rituals of the Holy Knights of Valencia.
Hmm.
I think that was.
Oh yeah, it's the Holy Knights. It's the personal journal of one of the Holy Knights.
Yeah, she takes it out and puts it on the ground and like hops on it.
Cray will pick it up and flip through it. Does anything in it strike me as relevant given all that I've experienced in the last couple months since the last time we flipped through these?
I guess roll
Also,
me an
is it in a
investigation.
language I can speak?
Yeah. It is in common. It is in common.
Okay.
Irina is kind of like in the just behind you, also staring at the skull, and she goes, I honestly have not heard her speak much of it. I do presume that if such a skull were to exist, and if it's something you're seeking, there's a good chance that probably Strahd has it under lock and key. As you've already learned, by making mistakes, he does not willingly give up things he owns, unless it comes with consequences.
Yep.
Consequences.
Okay. Through your investigation, you're kind of looking through, and I mean, there's not a lot. It is a journal. It's more about like a historical, personal account of all various battles that have happened. But through it, you do come upon a description, and it's flowery at best. It's whoever wrote this was probably a fan of Tolkien because man, it's really
verbose is a
verbose. Yeah. But the way that they're describing the dragon itself, like his skull was larger than a person, at least, like the head, being able to swallow, specifically the line about being able to swallow several people in a single bite. Probably a little on the bigger side.
All right. Well, good to know. I'm still curious as to what it is. Let's see. While we're walking, I need to see if this is I will clamber out onto the roots wherever she has it, because she's got it kind of like suspended underneath us, right?
The skull?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like being carried. Kind of halfway underneath, halfway out, yeah.
I'll kind of like hang off of the roots, monkey bar style, touch the skull, and I'm going to ritually cast Identify, so I'm going to chill here for 10 minutes.
You can hold onto monkey bars for 10 minutes.
I was gonna say, roll me Constitution save.
Constitution save?
No, it's okay. It's probably, I will say, there are a lot of roots, and most of them, like, aren't in direct use. There's about 6 roots that are spidering their way like legs, like insect legs, through the underbrush, and the rest of them, there's a lot of root system down there. You can probably, like, find a place to sit and ritually cast it.
Okay.
It's not comfortable, and you're, like, constantly swaying. It's like being...
about comfortable right now.
Yeah, but
Motion
you can
sickness.
definitely ritual.
He's just curious. Like, the curiosity's finally gotten the best of him. He's like, all right, hold on. Go find out, like, what this is then.
Okay. After you spend 10 minutes and all of you are like, what's Cray doing down there? You discover that this is in fact an enchanted skull. The enchantment is a little bit difficult because whatever magic Lasaga worked with is not exactly the 8 schools of magic that you're traditionally familiar with. This is weird shit. However, you also discover that it's a hill giant skull.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Interesting. All right. Well,
And it's
Dragon.
quite old.
mystery solved. Mystery solved. He's happy.
Right.
Would we have? I don't have anything else really to ask Arena. Does anybody?
Arena is
No.
like, did you still want the skull? As soon as you come
Oh,
back
no.
in.
It's fine. I mean, it seems like his magic is not going to work for me. At least it seems not compatible with the way that I work the arcane. So, it's just going to be. I don't think it's going to be what I'm looking for. But I appreciate you being willing to part with it.
Like I said, I don't want to stay indebted to you too much. Although you still have my cooperation, if that's what it comes to.
I appreciate
She
that.
kind of pauses and she goes, look, did you want to stay here, or are you just... Because we are approaching the castle quite
No.
quickly.
We'll just as soon as we get within range of the castle, we'll make our departure. Go set up our camp there. You can return to the depths of the swamp and your own life and the eternity therein.
Kind of pauses. And she goes, her eyes flick back on you, and she looks out the window and looks back at you, and she goes, so have you all actually seen my brother since the, uh, hag situation happened?
Yes.
I think we saw him once.
Oh,
Right?
what did he say? How was he? Was he still alive?
He was.
Magic.
You guys saw him when Barovia was attacked, right?
You all also saw him
He
on the
saw
road,
us.
and you
Yeah,
immediately
we
saw-
fucked
cast
with
Sphere
him.
of Darkness and threw
Yeah.
rams
Yeah.
at him.
Yeah.
That's why Jess said
He
magic.
he saw us, and we didn't want to be followed. So
That's right.
we were trying to get you back before we dealt with him, because I don't think he is just gonna ignore his sister being gone. No, I don't mean that like he's gonna come after you or anything. Just we might need to explain the situation to him at some point. Now that we know you're good.
Now that we know that you're not in mortal peril, we can at least give him some news, and some news is better than we honestly don't know, but we're not strong enough to go fight the thing that took her, so we can't know right now. Sorry. So,
Well, if you see him again, I
Yes.
suppose any time is fine. Just make sure that he's not alone. I know that he's capable of taking care of himself, but he's frankly... And she kind of leans forward and she goes, he's frankly really a softy, and I don't really trust him to be able to... He can hold a sword, but I don't think he wants to, if you understand.
I know what you mean.
I
I hear you.
If you see him again, just maybe make sure that he's safe. I would send some scarecrows, but I'm afraid that signaling the fact that I am now in control of them will not bode well for
Creepy.
Strahd.
Do you
Yes,
have
it would be very
anything-
creepy.
Do you have anything that we could give him to assure him that you're you and you're safe and no longer confined in any way?
Jess goes back into the bag of holding again and pulls out the arena doll that Isaac had.
Rita looks at it and she goes, "What is that?"
Oh, that's a very long story. That's not mine.
She does look a little bit relieved at that, but immediately looks at Carter and Seraph.
No, it's not. It was that he looks down at the
Creepy.
bird.
I'm just like shaking my head no.
It was Dess's, technically.
She looks at the graven and just leans back like, "What?"
Do you are you familiar with what was his name? He had big demon arm. We took his arm. His arm's in there too.
His
I
arm?
forgot we took his
Yep.
arm.
Oh fuck.
Sure is in there.
Probably not a lot left of it, but
No,
It was in my inventory as Isaac's arm.
Isaac.
whoops. Isaac? Yeah, Isaac.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Yeah, it was his. He's apparently he was very enamored with you for one reason or another. I mean, I could see it, but
Who is this? What?
what was he? Bodyguard of the Burgomaster of Valaki.
Oh,
Also, the
good.
creepy toy guy had one too.
Yeah, and the creepy toy guy had a lot of them. Well, no.
He was
Izek
making
had
them
a
for
lot of them.
somebody.
He was making them for Izek.
Okay, cool.
At least that's what I'm assuming.
I'm very glad that I didn't make it to Valaki. That seems
Yeah. Yeah.
well.
No, Valaki.
Burned.
Valaki's not really a safe place anymore. We took all their money and it burned to the ground. So gives her like a weak thumbs up. Kresk is now the place to be. It's the new up and coming town. I hear there's going to be a tavern there.
Moonshine!
Will probably visit eventually, but and she kind of slaps her fist with her hand and she goes, "Money! I'd forgotten about the fact that people use money." And she hops up and she goes to the chest that is kind of shoved back behind the bed.
We're great
Does
at sitting.
something with her hand. Yeah, basically. Does something with her hand really quickly, and you see like a puff of magical energy that just goes inert. Unlocks it with a key and reaches inside and begins just shoveling out what essentially is gold.
Shiny.
Just gold and gemstones. And she, at first, is just scooping it onto the floor and then calms herself down and then begins to like look through it and count it out. And she goes, "Look, you can have some of this as well, but if I am able to trust you, which I believe we have a mutual agreement of trust, if you can take this to my brother, this would be wonderful, because he is probably poor as fuck."
Dust
You
runs
did that.
over and picks up one of the gold coins.
She lets you have it.
Bird Desk has a gold coin.
Hmm.
Baby Desk got a silver coin.
Right? I had one platinum before, but now it's in the bag I'm holding.
And she just begins to dole it out to you. So you guys, at the end, if you accept it, she will give you probably the equivalent of roughly 1,000 gold pieces.
Oh
Hell
shit.
yeah.
We actually have
And-
money in Strahd! Oh my
And
god.
she also gives you like 5 different gemstones. Just huge ones. It's huge for gemstones, relatively speaking.
Okay, I'm just gonna
Are
put
they
this
like
in here.
are they like fine cut or rough cut?
2 of them are rough cut, 3 of them are fine cut. They certainly don't look like they originated in Barovia.
All right. Well, I can guarantee you that this will definitely come in handy.
Moonshine.
Yeah. Wow.
Look at those diamonds I can't use anymore.
Oh no! Don't say it like that. It's so sad.
Whoops.
Woo! All right.
She also kind of, actually, yeah, she kind of rolls the chest a little bit more, and she kind of considers a couple of things. And she goes, "Look, as a gesture of goodwill between us, if you'd like, I can also gift you this." And she presents you with a little vial of what looks to be oil and a stone.
What is
Stone
it?
looks pretty rounded. She goes, "This, I believe, if I remember correctly from her going through it, is the oil of sharpness.
Wheel of sharpness. All right.
And this is a stone of good luck." And before you reach out for it, she kind of closes her fingers around. She goes, "If none of you have a specific use for it, if I can, please give this to my brother as well. I have a feeling he might need it."
That's fair. That's fair.
And then she looks back at Des and she goes, "Actually, speaking of that, I didn't want to get rid of this, but I suppose I have no personal use for it myself. Take these as well." And then she hands you over what looks to be 2 very differently decorated spell scroll cases.
She tries to pick one up and fails.
Yeah. They're like as long as you are.
Here, let me help you. Help.
Falls over.
Pick them up. and add them to the stuff that she's giving us. We'll figure out what these are in a moment. Once we get camp and get dinner.
Tea.
We've had a lot of tea.
She just looks over at the table where all of hers is all over the table.
All right, so is the oil of sharpness, the 2 spell scroll cases? I feel like I got the gemstones.
Yep.
Stone of good
And
luck that maybe we give
yes.
to
Stone of good luck, yeah.
Ismark.
Luck stone.
Ismark.
She also pulls out what seems to be rather warm but still like all right set of bagpipes, and she goes, "Do any of you have any use for this?"
Aside from making me nostalgic and a little homesick.
Kind of gently presses the back into the case, and she goes, "Oh, fine. Oh, yeah."
I'm not even sure how to make those things make noise, except for this is going to be helpful. How much of this did she set aside for Ismark, or did she just not say? She just handed me like 1,000 gold, said give some of it to Ismark.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, I misread. It's 1,300 gold pieces.
Oh, nice.
With the
And
300 for Ismark.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And she was like, if you can... Look, I will be able to see you soon. Maybe not right now immediately, but I will be able to see you through the scarecrows, so please, just set aside 300. 300 for my brother. I'm sure he
Easy.
has not a lot of places to spend it, but it's just better to send something.
Balaki?
For that, well, it's up to him if you wanted to. Look, if he doesn't believe you... She's kind of like, I would write him a letter, but I feel like perhaps he wouldn't... No, I'll write him a letter. Just wait here. Have some more tea.
Dust will look over at Craig and then just like, Balaki Barovia.
Kresk.
No. Ismark.
Barovia.
Okay. Not burn.
He's just like sitting there. He just sighs. Oh, well, we finally have money. I still don't know where we're gonna spend it.
Yeah. Now we need to find somewhere to offload a bunch of gold.
When Gray picked up all of Dessa's gear, the amulet of proof against detection and scrying and location would have been amongst it, so he's going to reattune to it and put it on, since she seems to be stuck in bird form at the moment. So Gray can't be scryed on. We have a lot of gemstones, guys. We have like a 5 grand liquid assets at the moment.
Hell yeah. And nothing to do with it.
We just need to find somewhere to spend it.
Right?
Where that is, in the middle of a godforsaken, blighted wasteland like this, who knows? But
I mean, so if we talk about it in person, as Cray kind of ruminates on the fact that we now have a decent amount of money, he is of the opinion that we should help fortify Kresk. Because I like the Burgomaster in Kresk. I don't necessarily like the Abbot, but plenty of cities and townships exist at odds with the religious leadership there. So we can burn that bridge when we get to it. I feel like if we invest money in the town, in building up the walls and manning it, paying people to help with the guards, might be able to facilitate a little bit more trade, give people a little bit more to build off of there. We just have to get some sort of resources from somewhere else.
I don't know.
Do we make it to the mansion?
It's not necessarily a mansion, Seraph. It's an old abandoned spooky castle.
The house eventually does come to a slowing stop. You guys watch, and the way you're traveling, you're kind of traveling almost through like a higher elevation, essentially, where it starts to snow. You're almost going into the mountains, but then you come back down again. And as the windows on the hut begin to face that way, you do see the familiar silhouette of Argynvostholt, kind of on the horizon. It's almost sunset at this point, from how long you guys have been traveling, but there it is. You probably are arriving within like 10 minutes or so with the way the hut's going.
I appreciate the lift, Arena. I'll make sure that Ismark gets your letter and the gold you set aside for him. And we'll let him know that you're safe. And I think that's all he ever really wanted. He didn't want you to be a prisoner. He wanted you to have a life. You know, he just didn't know how to do that without Strahd fucking your shit up every day of it.
I suppose, ironically, the thing that we feared the most actually freed us.
Sometimes
Well,
the world is funny like that.
She hands you a little piece of folded parchment with a bit of string tied around it. She goes, just give this to him if you see him.
He tucks it into his, he takes out his little treasure chest that he uses for all his papers, places it in there, puts the whole treasure chest back
The
in
briefcase.
Yeah, it's pretty much his briefcase at this point. All right, so we're gonna go bunker down at the castle.
Before we leave, Des kind of like stops and turns back to Arena and just like cocks her head a little bit. Just choices.
She kind of smiles a bit. And it's sad this time, it's not angry, and she goes, I'm sorry, I do feel slightly responsible for making you like this, but I think we're all entitled to a few bad choices in our life. World's not so black and white, you know? Even when you are a raven.
All right then. We'll climb down. As we hit the ground, Cray will tell his rope to coil back up. It'll unattach itself from the front of the house.
All right.
He doesn't forget it. He remembers it.
Aw.
And
Slowly
we'll,
heals itself.
yeah, it's back to its full length at this point because it heals pretty quickly. It's like it heals like an inch every minute, so it doesn't take long. It's like it's back to its pristine like silken rope.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll head over towards Argynvost and kind of I'm thinking we camp in the chapel, the tower out back instead of the castle itself. It's just more detached. I think it'd be less intrusive. We didn't find any ghosts out there last time. I think it was safer.
Creepy.
I don't know. He kind of like looks up at it. Still think it's gonna be somewhere safe eventually. But yeah, well, we'll go do our long rest finally.
All right. Yeah, easy enough. You kind of give a wide berth to the ballroom that you ended up in last time with all the spiders.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few strange noises coming from there, just kind of odd chittering, but you swing around, go to what is probably the... Oh, I think I still have the Argynvostholt map. Where is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and you swing around to the back where the graveyard. I almost said raveyard. That's a very different
Graveyard and rave and rave.
Hell yeah.
That's where the ghosts party, yeah.
Right? They gotta have somewhere.
And yeah, you're able to go in there. Mm-hmm. Are you gonna attempt to shut the door?
Do we shut it behind us? No, let's leave it cracked because it's probably supposed to be airtight. So we'll probably leave it cracked.
The chapel?
The little mausoleum thing.
Oh, the mausoleum. Okay, that would make more sense than the chapel being airtight.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's Yonadar Mark 1.
Oh yeah. Probably Mark
holy
2.
shit, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot that you guys are on this map.
Hello.
Well, yes. Anyway, it's easy enough. You already know the layout of this place, so it's not like you're gonna be startled by most of the things. And at this point, I would say that it's not a problem for you to dispatch whatever comes your way. Although nothing really does. There's nothing really here anymore, as long as you don't go into the house itself. But yeah, you guys can probably just hole up in there, and if you want help, you can even, I don't know, build a little fire. Well, actually, mausoleum's pretty airtight. Not a good idea. Never mind. Scratch that.
He's gonna have some magical light from his magical tinkering, just like a soft glow in there, so we can kind of see. But it's just gonna be a safe place for us just to sleep.
I can also cast light on the cat.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Get she fly around a bit.
Yeah. As you guys are heading towards the castle, you kind of turn around just in time to see the house gently lumbering away back into the tree cover. You think you see Irina standing on the veranda on the porch and kind of looking back in your direction, but then she goes inside. And with that, if you guys are all gonna wanna go ahead and take a long rest, you level up.
Yeah.
You know,
One level in bird.
oh no. Yeah, as we're kind of like bunkering down, Cray's gonna kind of sit down with Des as a bird and just sit there and look at her and just softly ask, "So, are you stuck like this now? Are you a bird?"
She kind of just like sits down and like on top of her feet and like puffs up into a little ball.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. She says it back in Cray's voice.
That's fair. We'll figure that one out together. Thank you. I'd given up. Thought they were dead. Thought you'd run. And he just sort of pets her on the head. He pets Yonadar. He pets Kachi. He pets himself a little bit because he's just surrounded by animals now.
But what about Carter and Seraph? Who's gonna pet them?
They can pet each other.
Oh, God.
Cray's busy. He only has 2 hands.
But you have 3 animals.
I know. It's a problem. I ran into it in real life when I got the second cat.
The animals are very angry about this issue.
I don't know what to level.
Me neither.
Yeah, gee, we're gonna have to discuss, that. If you want, you can still level
like
just
your
for fun.
backup. Honestly, like we could have Bird Des as just like their current thing.
Can I have Bird Des as an animal companion for my next character and have her be able to do limited Grave Cleric stuff? Because that'd be
We will
hilarious.
discuss that next
Okay.
time, because that sounds kind of cool, but we'll have to figure out what the limits are realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get magic smite. I have a magic
Ooh.
smite. I have a magic smite.
I don't know what to choose. Decisions.
Decisions.
Kitty.
Yeah. Speaking of second cat, he is being super cute.
Aw. He is being so
Adorable.
cute. That
Yep.
options. Why are there so many good third level spells, everybody?
Because third level.
Third level, man.
I really wanted to go through all of the cleric spells, and since cleric can change their spells at the morning of every day, I wanted to just go through and just pick only the verbal spells. Turns out clerics do not have a lot of verbal spells.
Oh no.
Only.
Hmm.
It's all just like a couple healing spells, and that's about it.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Speaking outside of game, outside of meta, gee, I don't think
Yeah.
you guys are basically losing a cleric essentially.
Yep.
The cleric, Seraph can heal, but like,
At least.
yeah.
I guess you can pick up Revivify.
That's it.
Well, I mean, if I take a level in sorcerer, I could.
No, you can take it.
Oh, Cray can also do a revivify. Oh, he
I
could.
can
Yeah.
take it. Yeah.
But yeah.
Also, are you gonna identify those 2 scrolls?
Yes. Yeah. Once we're safe, he'll ritual cast.
I'll just do that. I'll just do that now before we forget. One of them is, weirdly enough, revivify. And the other one is a mass cure wounds.
Okay.
Well,
Also
I mean,
helpful.
I can't use this one, mass cure wounds, but if I have this one, I can at least cast it without having to know it. So let's see. Oh no, not identify. Revivify. Sorry, my brain is like, I was not expecting you to do that with Des off the bat. That was
I'm sorry. I've been
I'm
planning it
really
for
like,
literally almost a year. As soon as
Right.
Irina was taken, I had
As soon
that
as we
in the
got her
works.
back, yeah.
Like, if you
Finally
had
got her
gotten to
back.
her, yeah, if you had like tried to sneak in and tried to get her back earlier, it wouldn't have happened. But the longer the time stretched, I was like, yeah, Lasaga's gonna offer her this deal, and she's gonna fucking take it.
Hell
Because
yeah.
like,
I mean, we could not. That house would have looked at us, and we would have all gone ow and fallen over at level 4 if we had been like, yeah, we just got murdered by hags, but now we gotta go save her. Like, we got here as quick as we could.
you did.
Yep.
Oh
I'm
my
so
god.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It is great. And Cray now has his jetpack. So there's that.
There is that.
And honestly, there was,
Fuck.
yeah.
Wah,
The
wah.
fact that
Ugh.
Des, yeah, ended up having to make a deal with Strahd, I was like, well, what are the repercussions of that? And I
Nope,
was like, it's gonna be.
definitely.
He never actually promised to like bring her back forever. He was like, hey, I'll help you out.
He also never technically asked for anything because he's a dick and used
He's a
loopholes.
yeah. I mean, he's a douche wad. That's what he does.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, it was good.
He was like, I gave you the soul. Give it back, bitch.
I hope you enjoy my next character.
I kind of am excited. I need you to tell me what it is so that we can work in what the hell's gonna happen.
Oh, if G's gonna do what I think she's gonna do, oh, it's gonna
I'm excited.
I
I'm
feel like I
excited.
have an
Me too.
idea what she's gonna do.
I'm pretty sure I also kind of know.
I just can't remember how much I actually told you because I told you like a brief, like, quick synopsis, but
I really
Can't
want to
remember.
know like right now, but I'm not gonna bug you. But
I mean, I'll work
If you-
on typing a little
Yeah.
bit up while we play.
I'm trying to pick lower level spell slots, or what spells I want lower level spells, because like, right?
And if you guys don't mind, I wouldn't mind cutting the game off here just so that we can like.
Yeah.
Oh, it is already midnight, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Why? Yeah.
Carter got Misty Step and Hunter's Mark now. What's up? What's up?
Oh shit.
Oh shit!
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only once a day because he's not a caster, so he's only got it from the feet. But
Still gonna be useful. Let's see. No. Not gonna do that.
also stealth is now 13, so that's cool.
Pretty much just get one more spell and that's about it, I guess.
I still can't trade cantrips around. What? Nonsense.
How do I know how many spells I can know? Not that it matters, but I'm just doing it because
I
it's
mean, yeah, level
fun.
it up anyways. It's fun.
Yeah. Guess what, guys? The bird can cast Dawn now.
Is Dawn just verbal?
No, I can't actually use it, but I'm gonna take it
Oh,
because
okay.
We
I
were
was
so
like,
close to you being able to just
Right?
yeet undead out of existence. It was
Or,
so
you know,
close. Guys,
or-
we had a grave cleric in Strahd. We had training wheels. They are gone now.
bye guys.
gee, I offered you. I'm
I
not
know.
gonna say it, but
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of glad the fact that you had this exact same idea as I did, because I was like, how do I offer this option to you without you? Oh, okay, no, you already know what I'm going for. That's great.
Yeah. No, we had a lot of downtime of me just sitting and thinking like what Des would do, and that's what she would do. I don't know if it even worked, because she was kind of hoping that it would change her back to a person, but she's still a scary hag.
You did
Not undead?
specify in your. Well, can I say this out loud or?
Sure. Now that we're out of the done.
Yeah. You did specify in your prayer that you wanted to essentially weaken Strahd.
Yeah. Well, she
And
figured if like she could give her soul to Arena to like turn her into a human, but in some like all she really wanted was to keep her out of the cycle anymore. So I guess if that means her staying a hag, that means her staying a hag.
essentially, yeah, she's technically not a hag just yet. She did surrender her soul.
Yeah.
But she's well on her way, and Raven Queen was like, well, you know what? If we really want to hurt Strahd, this will piss him off. And this is not technically your burden to carry. It's not something that you should be giving up, because Strahd doesn't play by the rules and he's a little fucker bitch. However, it is technically outside of like the fact that you technically made an unfair deal with Strahd. The only thing she could really do is like protect you from the full consequences of that.
Does she still have a soul or no?
She does.
Okay.
She
That's
does.
more than she was expecting.
You as a raven have a soul. It's just that
Bird soul.
Essentially bird soul, yeah. Because of the fact that you are a were raven, that's kind of what made it possible to begin with.
Right.
So
I get.
Does.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, does my bird desk have the skull on the head of the raven? Because that would be awesome.
And like the feathers, or
yeah, just like a pattern of the skull of like her makeup, but like
I really want to draw that now. Oh no, dude! I just drew you guys a cool poster, right? And now we're like, oh no, we lost this.
Right?
Well, now we're gonna need a new full body for the new character Chekhov. This is what you bring upon yourself to kill one of our characters.
God damn it! Oh no, what have I done?
I mean, I get it.
It's still a really cool picture. I want to add it to my stream.
Yeah, that picture's so good.
Yeah.
I knew something bad was gonna happen because I killed one of my characters
You
on
did.
Saturday? No. Okay, so I facilitated Orius's death.
He's the one who rolled shitty, and you didn't pick him up.
Yeah, you didn't
Says the
either.
one with the potion as well.
You gravely misunderstand the relationship that Rose has with potions.
Oh,
Have
really?
you ever seen Rose use or buy a potion?
It would be better if they actually used one. Maybe
They have
Aureus would be
never-
alive.
They have never in our entire campaign used a potion.
Oops.
Yeah,
I
I
just say
can't.
it kicked me up, and then I got blasted right back down. So
Right.
that curse hit you at like the most narratively perfect time.
No, I'm talking about Aurora
Yeah,
fucking
Aurora's.
thunderclapping me.
Oh.
That was also great.
I was trying to avoid you, but the roll
Uh-huh.
said no.
No, you had to hit a 15 on that int check to be able to properly calculate the distance that book needed to go once it went into the shadows, because then it was just moving blind, and it got close enough to hit Resmir, but also,
But she saved it.
Yep.
yeah, she was just like, what? She saw this like spectral book floating through the darkness, like, what the fuck is that? Oh my god, it was great. What?
What?
Human?
Who, man?
Fuck yeah. There is no secret underground base on Mars. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Also, who here is familiar with was it Fate Stay Night, like the Unlimited Blade Works with all the
I'm
the one move where he
familiar.
does where he summons all the fucking swords and just starts
Oh.
throwing them.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can do that now on Cray.
Oh boy.
Hell yeah.
I didn't realize it, but because of Battlesmith at level 9, I get Conjure Barrage. I have a glaive in my
Yeah.
my bag of holding that I've had forever. I'll just throw the
Non-magical.
glaive in the air, and it just rains glaives
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
in a 60-foot cone in front of me. I'm so ready. Level 9 is so dope for I get that, I get Arcane Jolt. So I can up to 4 times a day add an extra 2d6 force damage on any attack after the attack hits.
Hell yeah.
There, I added our poster wallpaper
Hell yeah.
to the stream.
But oh my goodness.
So
Oh my.
so once I upload the video, you'll be able to see it in the last couple minutes.
That means you're also to be able to copyright strike him.
Get him.
No, my music's. Anyway.
Long string. I do not these two. All right, well, I need to go
Well.
read your conversation with Tess because I need to know for
You need to know.
out of character reasons, like narrative reasons, I need to know. But if we're gonna call it there, that was crazy.
I do feel bad about bringing that down on you immediately after the last game, but
Huh?
you know,
I mean, it
It
happened.
makes sense.
physical torture,
We-
emotional torture, it goes
Right?
hand in hand.
We did what he wanted, but not good enough. We had to
Yep.
finish it.
Yep.
And yeah, he kind of I guess can take it back, apparently. Which I think that's rude, but
It's rude, yeah, right. You don't just come up to somebody's house and be like, "Hey, you know that gift I gave you for Christmas 3 years ago?
take it
I'd
back.
like it back now."
Because that
Mine
gift
now.
I gave you is your soul, so I'm gonna need that back now.
Right?
Almost like we shouldn't trust an evil vampire dictator, huh?
And
Nah,
you
he seems
know,
fine.
he definitely wasn't sus, and I'm just like when that armor wasn't coming off and I was just rolling trash and it just kept hurting me. I was like, I could do this for
Yep.
maybe 2 more rounds, maybe 2 more rounds. This isn't gonna work. I was like, what can I do? I'm looking at all my shit. I'm like, literally the only thing that I can do that affects things on a grand scale is my bag of holding. I'm about to do something very stupid. If I don't come out in about 5 minutes, reach in there and think of me, throws his bag on the ground and just jumps in.
Yeah. I before we started Curse of Strahd, I actually read about bags of holding because technically Barovia is like a closed off demiplane. Like you
Yeah,
cannot even
technically.
use like plane shift or anything. And I was like, how the fuck do bags of holding works? And everybody just shrugs their shoulders and goes,
Right? Just,
I don't know, man.
Works.
They just do. But the fact that they work means, yeah,
It works.
it's like a Venn diagram of like a little circle within a larger circle, and I guess that Barovia's demoplane contains other smaller bag of holding demoplanes.
Yeah, I guess. And I did create it while I was here in Barovia because I got the infusion
Right.
while I was here. So,
Right.
maybe.
Maybe.
It'd be funny if we leave, and as we leave Barovia, finally go back to the material plane, his bag just explodes, and all the garbage that we have collected just is laying there on his feet, like, oh, hi, yeah, that's the thing that happens.
An arm! Wow.
Great.
Just like a skeletal arm, just like half demon, just kind of drifts through this sea of coins. God. Wait, hold on. Let me spell. How many? That's how many slots. How many known spells do I have?
Right.
Alrighty. Well,
Yep.
I am probably gonna go
Yeah.
check my emails.
Aw.
Because
Good luck.
that's what we do now these days.
Yeah.
Just check our emails.
Feel it.
You know.
Anyway, thanks
Yep.
for playing, guys.
Thank
No
you for
combat
running
this round, my
things.
bad.
You know.
That was great.
Probably for
Have
the
a good
best.
one.
Fine. We probably would have
Hey.
died anyway.
Right.
I gotta say, I kind of like Arena like this. Like, she didn't have a lot of. I don't know, maybe this is mean, but she didn't have a lot of character as just her normal self. She was just kind of
She didn't.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like and Cray legitimately gets like her argument. Like he understands. It's not like he's saying he's like it's fine. Just don't go around hurting people and nobody will have to stop you. Just
Right.
remember that.
I feel like that seems fair.
Yeah, I think
For
it's fair.
now, she's not murdery. She's just like, hey, freedom! I'm off the grid. And she can do spooky stuff now, which is just fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Yep. See ya. Thanks.
See ya. Thank you.
Later.
Bye.
G, please
Yeah, I'm
tell
gonna
me
work
everything.
I'm gonna
Yes.
work on typing up a character thing for you.
Yes, I'm excited.
Oh my god.
Break the game!
I know, and I'm so. All right, here we go. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye.